Why do I always forget that? Why do I always forget that? But yeah, I was... Oh my god. Oh, is it not working again? Why does this never work? Why is this like this? Oh, there it goes. The capture wasn't working for a second. I was real worried. I also see some bitrate fluctuation. This should be fun. Hopefully that's not a problem. The Adventure of the Clouded Kokoro. Is that right? Yeah. Yeah, I was saying, I'm not a cat. I'm a red panda.
I begin to think, Wilson, said Sholmes.
You know, I've only ever had to throw Shy out the window before, but if I need to start defenestrating you, I'll do it. Don't think I won't.
More to this case than that which we have observed. Indeed, that there may be another part to this story that we are yet to discover.
Cat.
His
Ridiculous.
eyes wandered, following the steam rising from his cup of herbal tea, leading him to the distant memory of that snowy evening. To the young lady collapsed on the pavement along Briar Road, and to the knife in her back.
Oh.
Lit in the soft glow of gas lamps, a most extraordinary scene had been set. And under the cover of a light fog, the curtain had risen silently on the insoluble mystery of our invisible killer.
Ooh. You know, seeing as we've got Herlock Sholmes and everything, are we gonna have Moriarty? Yeah, it's also stripy, so you know. That means I can't be a cat. It means I can't be a squirrel. So yeah, I'm not, I mean, I could understand people confusing me for a fox, I guess, but still. Did you sleep last night, Mr. Naruhodo? No, not at all. It was an enormous hotel, wasn't it? The rooms were so luxurious, I felt like we were staying in a palace. And with all the gas lights twinkling, it was brighter than day even in the middle of the night. What about the enormous beds? After my time on the SS Buria, I wasn't going to waste a single inch of that space. I spent the entire night rolling from one side of the mattress to the other. Oh yes, it really was the sort of night you can only dream of normally. Yeah, the atmosphere is so good. I love this game so far. When I learned that we owed £3 for the rooms, that dream quickly turned into a nightmare. Oops, sorry about that. The building was so impressive and the entrance so inviting, I just wandered in without thinking. In a lodging house in Japan, that sum of money would put a roof over your head for a whole year. I did try, but I'm afraid I couldn't help my tears when we were presented with the bill. Ugh, I really am sorry. Well, never mind. We must find some more affordable lodging straight away, though. If we're not careful, our entire stipend will be used up in 10 days or less. Ugh, London is a scary place. Ah, good morning to you at this early hour. There he is. God, what an imposing figure. I do like him, though, so I'm hoping he's not a villain. Really hoping we don't gotta, like, throw this man in jail. Good morning to you, Lord Chief Justice. We've just come to report on the outcome of the trial at the Old Bailey yesterday. Yeah, he really does look like he could go either way, doesn't he? I mentioned it before, but he looks a lot like, do I even still have that here? No, maybe I don't. Oh, wait, I do. He looks a lot like Damon Gant. Who was a villain. Like, I don't know. You're right, it really could go either way. Yes, I believe you had a very comprehensive initiation into British courtroom practices. Oh, yes. It was very eye-opening. Thank you. And in accordance with your instructions, Lord Strongheart, Mr. Naruhodo performed his duty to the end. Yes, I've already been apprised of events. You conducted a remarkable defense. You may consider the test passed. Oh! No longer are you a student from the Empire of Japan. You may henceforth claim to be a fully fledged lawyer. My country is delighted to welcome young talent from such a remote eastern land. Thank you very much. So, I'm a lawyer now. Now, in view of your new appointment, I have a fresh case in mind for you. I'd like you to take it on at once. I trust that won't be a problem. Another case? Already? Nothing trains a lawyer better than practical experience. I'm sure I don't sense dissatisfaction, do I? It's just that yesterday's trial ended unusually. I haven't quite come to terms with it. What's to come to terms with? The man was cleared. What more were you hoping for? The truth. I want to know what really happened on that night. Go through these files. Ah, yes, my 3 updated autopsy reports.
The culpability of the defendant has not, at the present time, been established by this court. Consequently, the jury will not be required to proffer judgment.
Well, Lord Van Zykes, it's been a pleasure, so it has. And as for you, my dear fella, I couldn't have asked for a better defense. Now here's an evil man. See, when he does this, I just wanna shift into the Wario laugh. I just can't help wondering if Mr. McGilded really was innocent. Mr. Naruhodo, it's just that I never managed to ascertain the truth. And then the trial ended. Well, you needn't let it trouble you for a second longer. Sorry? What do you mean, Lord Strongheart? Oh yeah, that's right. The last case ended with a cutscene where the omnibus was burning and someone was trapped inside. We don't know who. Magnus McGilded passed away. Well, I guess we know who now. Oh dear. Fuck. Immediately following the trial. No. What? Mr. McGilded is dead? I have 19 minutes and 41 seconds until my next engagement. Time enough to talk. Good Lord. I don't understand. What happened? How can he be dead? After the trial concluded yesterday, there was a great commotion in the Old Bailey. As you'll presumably recall, an omnibus had been wheeled into the courtroom. Yes, of course. That was the scene of the crime which Mr. McGilded had been accused of. Precisely. Well, while the bailiff's attention was diverted by some other matter, the omnibus went up in flames. No. How could such a thing have happened? That is being investigated as we speak, but already the police have identified a corpse found inside the charred shell of the carriage as that of McGilded. That's awful. The man must have slipped inside whilst the bailiff's attention was elsewhere. The bailiff really needs to pay more attention. Yeah, seriously. And how could that have happened? That is also being investigated as we speak. Thinking back now, Immediately after the trial, Mr. McGilda did mention going back into the courtroom to look at the omnibus. Well, I must be making tracks now. 'Tis time for the inspection. Sorry? What inspection? They're going to examine the omnibus again, so I'm told. I asked if I could be present for it myself. An inspection of the omnibus. Not to my knowledge. I don't believe Scotland Yard had any intention of re-examining the carriage. But then who was Mr. McGilda talking about? Never mind that now. The Yard is making a thorough investigation. This matter is no longer any concern of yours. Leave it to the police. Poor Mr. McGilded. Well, I mean, he was probably a murderer. Most likely. So, how did you find your first taste of our country's Supreme Court? Oh, well, I don't know. I mean, it was... wow. What Mr. Naruhodo means... Mr. Naruhodo means that the whole experience was steeped in the solemnity of Great Britain's long history. It's really a world apart from our own judicial system in Japan, which is only a few short decades old. Wow, Susato-san has such a way with words. You seem to have a way of failing to find the right ones. The judicial... the judicial system here is the most advanced in the world. Learn all you can. Most advanced in the world, is it? It was fortunate that your very first trial was a simple affair. Simple? That was simple? As I believe I mentioned yesterday morning, it was a trial you couldn't lose. I don't mean to be contrary, Lord Strongheart, but the case was anything but simple. The circumstances of the case were so incriminating, I was stunned when I first heard them. In fact, I'm still finding it hard to believe that we managed to get a favorable verdict. Is something funny? No, my apologies. However, the fact is that you did receive the not guilty verdict you set out to achieve. And that can only be attributed to exceptional talent. Wouldn't you agree? Well, I don't know about that. Well, never mind. You exceeded my expectations, I freely admit. That much is at least is an undeniable truth. Yeah, Susato really is the MVP here. She's the Naruhodo translator, basically. Which is precisely why I've prepared the new case for you that I mentioned before. What's going on? What was he going to say before? Yeah, a little strange that he said it was a case we couldn't lose. Could you perhaps give us some more details about the new case you mentioned? Don't tell me. It's a murder, and the trial starts in 10 minutes. Don't worry. It's nothing so alarming or quite so urgent as your last assignment. In fact, this case is completely different. Oh, I see. Did he just read my mind? That is to say, no one has died, as yet. And the trial will not be today. There's plenty of time to research the case thoroughly. 23 hours, 43 minutes, and 19 seconds to be precise. Huh. So the trial's tomorrow, then. Is everything all right? Oh, yes. I'm just a little confused, that's all. Yesterday's trial was... well, it left me wondering if I'm really cut out for being a lawyer. Oh, Mr. Naruhodo. I don't know if I could face standing in that courtroom again after Mr. McGilded's trial. Ah, yes, I nearly forgot. There was one similarity with yesterday's case. Once again, there's currently no one to advocate for the defense. Oh! The situation remains unchanged. The trial will start tomorrow with the defendant unrepresented. And if that happens, I need not remind you of the inevitable outcome. The most terrible end awaits the defendant. Yes, that's right. Ugh, here we go again. Your time is up. You will have to excuse me. I would advise you to begin making preparations for tomorrow's trial. After all, the clock is ever ticking. There is now but 23 hours, 26 minutes, and 39 seconds until the court sits. Last time he mentioned the 23 hours, he said there was plenty of time. And one more thing, Mr. Naruhodo. Oh, Lunar, hey, thanks for the follow. Welcome to the hideout. Put your feet up, relax. How you doing? There is something I should like to ask you. Oh, what's that? Yesterday, you remarked upon something that you intend to see through the will of your... late compatriot, Mr. Asogi. I would be interested to hear what exactly you mean by that. Inside 34 seconds. Oh, well, Kazuma always used to say, you see, that he wanted to learn how the greatest justice system in the world worked so he could change ours in Japan. Now that he's gone, I'd like to work towards that myself. And there's another thing. Oh! Another thing. Continue. On the way here on the steamship, he said something to me. There's something very important that I have to do. Something very important? And what exactly would that be? He never had a chance to tell me. I suppose he would have done if he'd ever... You're out of time. Well, thank you for an enlightening discussion. Mr. Naruhodo, what's this all about? Mr. Asogi never once mentioned anything of the sort to me. I urge you both to focus your attentions on the matter at hand. I've taken the liberty of summoning the police inspector in charge of the case. He'll be able to apprise you of the details. How long has he been standing there? So, I wish you the best of luck, and bid you farewell. Alright, bye. Look at him. He's got his chips. Oh, I want some of those. Hey, you better brought enough to share, man. There's something very important that I have to do. Kazuma-sama, what did you mean? I wish I knew. But honestly, he never told me. Anyway, we had better talk to the detective, don't you think? Yes, you're right. I hope I'm just imagining it. But I wouldn't say he looks pleased to see us at all. I never actually got the chance to look around before. This must be the Lord Chief Justice's desk. I believe it's made of marble. It looks more like an over-the-top tombstone that's toppled over to me. I think that's your fanciful imagination at work again, Mr. Naruhodo. Feels like everything that's normally made of wood and paper at home is made of bricks and stone here. I know. That's why this place feels so overbearing, I'm sure. Yeah, I wanna look around a little bit. I didn't get to do this last time because we had to rush to the courthouse. Just look at all the naughty books packed together on these shelves. They go from floor to ceiling. And they're all books that you couldn't hope to come by in Japan. It's like a dream. Yes, a very bad dream. They're not all about British law, either. There are books about the judicial systems of other Western nations. France, Germany, Spain, Holland. What about Russia? Why do you ask? I was wondering about asking the Lord Chief Justice how you say wardrobe in Russian. What do you think? I think perhaps it's a thought best abandoned. Oh, look at these suits of armor. These are cool. Look at these menacing metal giants facing each other across the room. I believe yes, they're suits of armor. Oh, right. I thought maybe they were like the lion dogs we have in Japan guarding shrine gates. No, not at all. In fact, in Europe, suits of armor like these are always possessed by evil spirits, you know. And they roam around in the middle of the night. Really? Is there nothing you don't know, Miss Susato? This book tells me everything I need to know about everything. If you're ever unsure, just ask. Where did she get that incredible tome? I do enjoy a little knocking on the fourth wall. Is this some kind of clock? Actually, I think we might be inside some sort of giant clock. But those gears are larger than anything you'd find on a steam locomotive even. It's eerie. Do you think clocks are some sort of hobby of his? The Lord Chief Justice, I mean. Well, boys do enjoy fiddling around with machines, don't they? Yeah, I mean, I guess I am an engineer, aren't I? I'm not sure you could fiddle with cogs that size, and I'm certain you couldn't call him a boy. Still, it's amazing how little noise the cogs make considering how large they are. There's actually something quite soothing about their precise rhythm. Oh yeah, they do have a really nice rhythm, don't they? All right, let's talk to this fella here. This man is eating his chips like an ice cream cone. Look at him go. Look at him go. I want this. I want some. Share. Give me your bottomless cone of fries. Could we trouble you? Okay, what voice does this man have? He looks... What does he look like? He looks... Let's see.
What do you think?
What do you think? What do you think? No, that's not it. Oh, hold on. I thought I was gonna sneeze. I didn't sneeze. Oh, my nose. Oh, I hate that. All right. Trying to think of a good like. This guy's obviously got a British accent. Probably. Lovely weather, isn't it? What's the weather got to do with anything? It's like, I look at him, and I see, like, a little bit of, like, Luigi or Waluigi in there. But I've already done the Waluigi voice for someone. I can't just go doing that for everyone. What's the weather got to do with anything? Listen to me, you young Japanese upstart. Some frippery about the weather doesn't get every English gen eaten out of your hand, you know? Ugh, but Susada-san told me it was foolproof. I'm a busy man. A very busy man. With a lot of fries that I need to eat. Look at this. Look at him go. Honestly, this is just me when I have French fries. God. Yeah, really? There are so many good animations in this game. Look at the size of that fry in the middle, though. Like, it's so thick. Like, it's amazing that one's even cooked all the way through, considering the size of it, compared to all the rest. Wait, is that fish? Oh, you know, you might be right. That might just be the fish fry. Because there's obviously chips. I thought that was just like a really big, like, potato wedge. But no, I think you're right. That is just like a fried fish that just never stops regenerating. I'm a busy man. A very busy man. There's a crime scene to investigate, but I'm here having to give the likes of you a talking to. Oh, I'm ever so sorry. Can you imagine what the other officers there will be saying, huh? Haven't seen Gregson anywhere, have you? No, he's too busy with the bigwigs these days. All because of some bumpkin who's here on a jaunt from a country I've never even heard of. Hear that ripping sound? That's my reputation at the yard going to tatters. There's no need to rip us apart as well. I don't believe we've been introduced. This is Mr. Ryunosuke Naruhodo, a defense lawyer. Eh? It's a pleasure to make your acquaintance. I'm Mr. Naruhodo's judicial assistant. Eh? It's lovely weather we're having today, isn't it? I swear to God if this works. It is unreasonably fine, I grant you. London winters don't see a lot of sunshine. Holy shit. Way to go, Susato. God damn. Unbelievable. How did she pull that off? So, Lord Strongheart has asked me to fill you in on the case. The name's Tobias Gregson. Inspector Gregson to you. I'm from Scotland Yard. Why do I give everyone a New York accent? Why do I just give everyone a New York accent? This man is clearly British. Like, why do I do this? Why is it so easy to just give everyone a New York accent? Gregson. Inspector Gregson? What's the matter with Susato-san? Does this detective's name mean something to her? Inspector, are you perhaps the Inspector Gregson? You're acting like you know this man, Miss Susato, but he's a London detective. Oh, I do know him. Very well, in fact. Very well. Oh, he showed up in one of Sholmes' things, didn't he? Yes, he features prominently in the Adventures of Herlock Sholmes. Oh, in that publication. What's it called again? Ranced Magazine? That's right. Inspector Gregson and Mr. Sholmes enjoy a wonderful, friendly rivalry. Really? You rival the great Mr. Sholmes? That's incredible. Oh, well, I don't know about that. God, it's because of the tone of voice I'm using. When I use this tone of voice, I can't do anything but the New York accent. Like, if I were to do a British accent, I'd have to make it more sort of flowery like this. And even this isn't quite exactly British, I suppose. Somewhat British. But I can't exactly make the British accent work for that. Like, it's weird how my brain and my voices interact with each other. Oh, well, Oh, well, I don't know about that. Mr. Sholmes isn't a professional like myself, of course, but he does come up with the goods from time to time. Mr. Sholmes is equally complimentary about you, Inspector, isn't he? You've earned his highest praise. Gregson is the pick of a bad lot of all the Scotland Yarders. Those were his own words. That's his highest praise. Well, Mr. Sholmes isn't particularly known for giving compliments, you see. That he is not. And thanks to that magazine, my name's known all over London town now. That's great, isn't it? I have to admit that to start with, I was a little, well, flattered by all the attention. Everyone wanted to shake my hand, and my reputation at the yard went through the roof. Well, that's wonderful. No, it is not. There's nothing more sinister than the man on the street. People are always looking at me now. They're whispering rumors about me under their breath, I'm sure. Rumors? Are you quite sure? He's changed since he started appearing in those stories. The fame's gone to his head. Stuff like that. Gosh, do you really think people are saying such mean-spirited things about you? Like I said, they whisper, so I can't catch exactly what they're saying. But I know what folk are like. I'm sure that's what they're saying. As sure as eggs is eggs. Eggs. Can I offer you an egg in this trying time? I get the feeling this detective could be very hard work. Oh dear. Perhaps a sudden rise to fame does change people. Alright, tell me about the case now. This is important. Nothing to tell, really. As far as we're concerned at the yard, it couldn't be simpler. Oh dear. That probably means that as far as we're concerned as lawyers, it couldn't be more complicated. I wish you were wrong about that, but I have a nasty feeling you're right. A young woman was walking along the pavement on Briar Road when she was stabbed from behind. Unfortunately, it wasn't Fortunately, it wasn't fatal. But she's still laid up in the hospital unconscious. That was almost a very, very bad misspeak. That's despicable. What sort of coward would attack the poor woman from behind? I suppose you would have finished whoever it was off with a Susato takedown, would you? That is neither here nor there, Mr. Naruhodo. Brace yourself, Ryunosuke. You've angered her now. Anyway, after something of a whirlwind investigation, the criminal was arrested. Barely had time for a cup of tea before after the incident took place, to be honest. So, there must have been something left at the scene that led you directly to the culprit? Or perhaps a reliable witness who recognized the person in question? Let me stop you right there. You're wasting your time on this one. Sorry? There's nothing you can do. There's no way to help the bloke now. Why ever not? Simple. The prosecutor that's been assigned to the trial tomorrow is Lord Barak von Zykes. Ah, but we've already beaten him once before. We can do it again. No. Sounds like you've heard of him, then. Oh, yes. We're very familiar with Lord Van Zykes. Believed to be the harbinger of death itself. The Reaper of the Bailey. Tell me more about him, though. Lord Barak von Zykes, who we faced in court only yesterday. Mr. McGilda told us about him before the trial, didn't he? When Van Zykes stands for the prosecution, they call the accused his sacrificial lambs. And in every single trial in which he's been the prosecutor, the accused has been damned. This Reaper of the Bailey nickname. I suppose he's earned that because every defendant he advocates against is found guilty, is that it? Well, if that's the case, we should inform you, Inspector, that in yesterday's trial against Lord Van Zykes, Mr. Naruhodo secured a verdict of not guilty. Ha. And what of it? Oh, well, I think that means that even against the Reaper of the Bailey, it's not impossible to save the defendant. No, you really don't have a clue, do you? Oh, no. What do you mean? What happened to that bloke in the end, eh? He's dead. Magnus McGilded came a cropper in that omnibus when it went up in flames. So you can't rightfully say you saved the defendant, can you? What are you saying? Look, if Van Zykes could get the dirt to stick on everyone, he'd be a miracle worker. That's not how it goes. He doesn't work miracles. He works magic. Black magic. I'd have a good long think about that if I were you. Are we really supposed to believe that? Jesus. Right, well, I filled you in as requested, and I'm very nearly out of chips. So I'll be heading back to the crime scene now. We're still carrying out a few investigations there. It was Briar Road, you said, didn't you? Where the incident took place. That's correct, ma'am. And if you head over to the holding cells, you can meet the criminal himself. Branded him a criminal already? He's as good as. Shaking like a leaf in his cell he is. He'll give you a chuckle if nothing else. He's inmate 53. Speak to the jailer and he'll show you the way. Inmate 53. Thank you. So, Lord Van Zykes, somehow, all the cases he presides over, the defendant dies. Very cool. So there's no helping anyone against the Reaper of the Bailey, they say. Is something troubling you, Mr. Naruhodo? To tell the truth, when I recall the trial yesterday, I can't stop myself from shaking. The idea of facing the Reaper in court again is... Well, if you think it's too much for you, there's no shame in turning the case down. That takes courage, too. But if the man they've arrested is innocent... You could well imagine he would be shaking like a leaf in his cell. And I, for one, wouldn't find the sight of that funny. So, if I'm honest, I'm still reeling from the shock of yesterday's events myself. And I'm really not sure if I'll be able to help this man, whoever he is. But I'd like to try, so I think I'm going to make some inquiries. Will you help? Did you really think you had to ask? After all, I'm your judicial assistant. Thank you. So then, shall we? Yes! Let's go! I love that animation. That's so cute. Alright, let's talk to the defendant first. I wanna meet them. Jesus Christ, look at this, like, jail cell. What are we, in a fucking castle dungeon? So these are British prison cells. Oh, they're ghastly. Feels just like a dungeon. Yeah, see? Exactly what I said. Yes, and having experienced it in Japan myself, I can assure you that our wooden cells feel a lot cozier than these cold stone walls. The Royal Dungeon. Now look, I am not confirming nor denying the existence of a dungeon somewhere in the Thieves Guild. All right? I will not. Nope. There might be. There might not be. Who knows? If there's people down there, again, who knows? Who could say? Who knows? I can assure. Oh, don't, Mr. Naruhodo. You're making it seem worse. What's going on in here? It's just the Thieves Guild. It's just a nice little, like, secret building where criminals can hang out and not have to worry about being arrested for things. You know, just don't do a murder. You can do as much theft as you want, just don't do a murder. That's like rule number 1. Apparently our client is in this cell here. Apparently he is invisible. But it's so dark in the back there, I can't make him out. I wonder what he's like. Inmate 53, your legal representative is here to see you. Stop hiding in the back of the cell and show your face at once. Am I a cat, as yet with no name? Calling me by a number. It's utterly, unbelievably, unjustly unreasonable. I refuse to answer. So, why would they have cells? Exactly. Why would the Thieves Guild have a dungeon? Don't be silly. I mean, I'm not going to say whether there is or there isn't. I mean, I'm no liar. Well, I'm a thief, so I lie quite often. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Mr. Naruhodo, what do you think is going on here? I have no idea. But I wasn't just hearing things, was I? That tirade of complaints was in Japanese. Oh, was it? This man looks familiar. Why does he look familiar? Shh, quiet! We're all around, hiding. I know they are. They're watching, listening. Even now, I can sense it. There you are. You've come to curse me, haven't you? Don't try to hide it. You're a ghost. A ghost? Even Susato's like... We mean you no harm, prisoner, son. Reading this in English is just so weird. Are you Japanese by any chance? This is beyond my wildest dreams. What a character. Forgive me for that outburst before. I'm so sorry. Oh, it's fine. We were just a little surprised, that's all.
Imagine it. It's been 12 long months since I left my hometown, and here I am, in a frightful fix in a foreign land.
So hearing the sweet, sentimental tones of a compatriot's voice here in this damp, dark hellhole was a most monumentally moving moment. This man's a writer, I can already tell. This man is absolutely a writer. Could have guessed that this new client Lord Strongheart assigned to us would turn out to be a fellow Japanese. Ah, what compassion my fellow countrymen show to dispatch a first-class lawyer all the way from Japan to defend a mere foreign student. Noble, nurturing, never-failing Nippon. Oh no! Oh no, Mabel! Oh no! Mabel got deleted! Over 60 caps! Wait. It's still on the screen. It's still on the screen. I can read it. Someone who has a pompadour and isn't a very good detective. Wait, no, I know who this is. I should know who this is. Wait a minute. Pompadour, not a very good detective. No, I should know this. Oh! Of course! Hildebrand! Hey, what are you saying? Hildebrand always solves the case. He just doesn't solve it the right way. A first-class lawyer. Oh dear, I think there's been something of a misunderstanding here. I wonder, would you be so kind as to tell us what's happened? Why you've been detained as a suspect, for example? Yes, I can. I will. Shan't stay sullen and silent. I'm not quite sure I understand what he means, but he seems happy. Yes, he does. I just hope he actually has a good reason to be. Thank you for your cooperation. I'm a lawyer, as you said. My name is Ryunosuke Naruhodo. And I am Naruhodo-san's judicial assistant, Susato Mikotoba. I am a visiting student sent here by our government. Notably, notoriously named Natsume. Soseki Natsume. This man's a student? How old are you? Wait a minute. How old are you? The man's 33. But he's a student. I mean, it's never too late, but alright. Student of life. Soseki Natsume-san. What an unusual name. Call me Soseki, please. I'm a... Yep. There it is. There it is. He's a poet. Got him. I pinned down from square one. See, I really am, you know. Here's why I've never been captured, you know, in all my years of thieving. It's because I'm smarter than the detectives. I'm always like, you know, 5 steps ahead of them. I got intuition. I got investigative prowess. See, I'm the criminal they hire in the heist movies to like stop the heisters. Like that's me. I'm the criminal that the police hire because it takes a criminal to catch a criminal. And I agree to it because what I'm really going to do is that like once the crime occurs, I'm like, you know, the bad guy's gonna like steal something, and I'm gonna tell the police how to catch him, and they're gonna catch him, but then I'm gonna disappear with the thing that the first guy was trying to steal. It's the great, you know, double twist, reverse double cross. Mm-hmm. You know, it's really quite basic, you know, narrative cliche structure. You ever see the one show? It's a professional thief and one mock break into people's homes. Wait, what? No, I absolutely haven't. What the fuck? People would, yeah, I would cry too. What the fuck? Did the people like Wait a minute. Did the people know that he was going to be trying to break into their house? Or did he just, like, just break into random people's homes? And, what? Holy shit. Oh, yeah, that'd do it. Yeah, give the paranoia time to subside. Yeah, just when they think they're safe. Jesus. Well, I mean, it's probably good. Actually, I need to ask, did anyone ever pull a gun on him? Like, when he was in their house? Because I feel like that would happen at least once. It's something of a nom de plume. A nom de plume. You mean an alias? That's right, Naruhodo-san. No, no, no! Don't be so prosaic. It's much more refined than that. And haiku. That really reminds me of home. Wait, what's the command for? How do I'm trying to think if you can post links. You can just DM it to me on Discord, honestly. Because I know you at least have that. Because I'm not sure. I think Twitch has anti-link protection, and I think also Nightbot has anti-link protection. So I don't know how to disable both of them. Wait, let me see. If this is the Nightbot thing, so. Yeah, let me see. Oh, there you go. There you go. Okay, you can do it in chat. You got 60 seconds. Ah, perfect. Okay, so that's how it works. Okay, so Twitch doesn't have anti-link protection. Ugh. Or maybe it does and I just turned it off. It Takes a Thief, 2005 TV series. Actually, hang on. We're gonna open this up over here. Hang on, because I do want to actually look at this. Hang on. All right. There. Yeah. Okay. All right. It Takes a Thief. An American reality television series that originally aired on the Discovery Channel from February 2nd to April 13th, 2007. Program stars and is hosted by Matt Johnson and John Douglas Rainey, two former thieves who use their unique expertise to teach people in an unusual way to protect their properties. With the owner's permission, the hosts stage a full-fledged burglary as their victims watch on closed-circuit television, either live during the break-in for Season 1 or in real time with pre-recorded video playback for Season 2. Rainey assumes the burglar role and plans and executes the break-ins, while Johnson acts as mentor to the security-challenged owners. Immediately following the burglary, Johnston and Rainey meet with the residents to return their stolen goods and explain to them what they've been doing wrong. Johnson then organizes a complete security makeover and provides additional safety tips. Weeks later, Johnson and Rainey return and attempt another break-in to test whether the homeowners are using their new security system properly. Although most thefts on the show occur in suburban homes, some places such as businesses, college houses, and even a police station have also been burglarized. Ooh, interesting. Let's see. A lot of synopses here. Let's see. So there they are, the former thieves. Damn. That's actually pretty interesting. Huh. Neat. Okay, let's see. All right. We're back over here now. Did I hear you say you were a visiting student sent over here by the government? It's fun while it was on the air. Oh, I love that cheese, though. Early 2000s, like, editing cheese is the best. Yes, that's right. A year ago, I was told to go and study English. First, I had to suffer that misery, and now this! It's beyond the pale! Suffer that misery? Did you not want to study here? No! I mean, I've had an interest in Great Britain for some years, of course. Oh. But Just because the government tells you to do something does it mean you can do it? No. What do you mean? If they told me to study English literature, that I could have understood. That's my field. But no, they told me to study the English language. Utterly, unbelievably, unjustly unreasonable. I see. Only the other day I was told to send a report about my first year here. I tendered a blank piece of paper. Wise words on white washi. You must be a man of great standing. Just one stupid text post going. The difference between British and American documentaries, it killed me. It's like, are we seeing a praying mantis eating its prey? You aren't going to want to go to church for this monster. God. Oh, God, you're so right, too. God, do you remember, what was it, The X-Files? Was that it? Or no, it was, was it no, maybe I'm not, maybe The X-Files is not correct. Hang on. Wait, is The X-Files what I'm thinking of? No. Okay. No, I'm not thinking of The X-Files. Because The X-Files is like the actual like it's a science fiction like TV show. I'm thinking of oh God. Yeah. God, what I'm thinking of what was it? World's Most Dangerous, maybe? Was it World's Deadliest? Is it World's Deadliest? It's like there was this show. There was this show about like is that the one with like the green man? Like the cheesy like the animations with the green like man, the green Matrix man. Cause that's what I'm trying to think of here. No Kingdom's rife with. No, maybe this isn't it. Oh my God. Let me see. Animal Planet show. Oh, The Most Extreme. That's it. It's The Most Extreme. Yeah, it's The Most Extreme. That's what I'm thinking of. Look at this shit. Hang on. I gotta show this on stream. Hold on. This is amazing. Fuck. Let me get Firefox open again. Hang on. Oh, look at it. Look at this. Oh my God. Oh my God! My stomach! Look at the eyebrow wiggle! That's just me. That's just me. I look at the camera and I go. This isn't the movie. My God. Oh my God. Animal Planet when it was good. Oh wait, ooh, oh boy. I don't want to go on random websites. I don't know where these places are gonna take me. Oh my god. Holy sh... Okay, okay. Alright. Okay. Alright, we're good. Holy shit. Oh. Okay. Yeah, I vaguely remember how absolutely wild and out there those animations could get. God, I'm gonna watch that off stream at some point. I want to watch that again. And often like to be told, it seems. Oh, God, it's like tonal whiplash coming back to this after that. Oh. Could you perhaps tell us exactly why you've been arrested, Soseki-san? There. I didn't do it. I didn't commit that atrocious murder. Murder? Oh, no, it's all right. The woman didn't actually die, did she? But she was stabbed with a knife right before my eyes. Before your eyes? You mean you saw the attacker? I didn't see anyone. What? If I'd seen the person who did it, do you think I'd be locked up in here? Oh dear, it seems this case is becoming rather complicated. Why me? Why me? Why did that silly woman have to be stabbed in front of me? Ah yes, that silly woman. Silly woman getting stabbed. Why'd she have to go and do that in front of me? Why couldn't she, like, do that, you know, at the other, like, a couple blocks down? God. That is some real unfortunate phrasing. It's the curse of London. It's incredibly, inexcusably, irritatingly inconvenient. Ah, yes, it's so inconvenient for me that she got stabbed. Oh, that's a good clip. All right, see you in a bit, Mabel. It's vital that we find out more about the case. Oh my god, tell me about the case, please. It was an accursed evening, just after the snow had started to clear It was an accursed evening, just after the snow had started to clear, and heavy with fog. I had been to the bookshop to buy some books, and I was on my way back to my accursed lodgings. Sure the bookshop wasn't accursed too? As I was walking along that accursed pavement, I could make out the sole silhouette of another ahead of me. A woman, wearing a green overcoat she was, and just as I went to overtake her, she suddenly let out a little scream and collapsed onto the cold, hard slabs of stone at my feet. How terrible. I called out to the woman, but she didn't move. It was like a ghostly, ghoulish, grim graveyard. Slight exaggeration there, perhaps. I was terrified. I had to get away from there. So I ran, as fast as my legs would carry me back to my accursed lodgings. That's not good. They'll say it was shameful, I know, to run away like that. Tell me, Soseki-san, was the victim an acquaintance of yours? Don't be ridiculous. Do you think I know any of these fair-headed English? And a young woman at that. I'm different, shy, timid, unsure. I can't talk to people. I see. Uh-huh. This is not the first time I've gotten, incel vibes from a, character before. And at the time it happened, who else did you see nearby? Did anybody pass you? Regrettably, apart from myself and the woman, I didn't see a soul. No one. Oh, great. So the victim was unknown to you, and there was nobody else on the street at the time. That creates something of a conundrum, doesn't it? What conundrum? What do you mean, Sasato-san? What's the conundrum? Well, if what Sasaki-san has just told us is true, there's something I can't explain. It says he didn't know the victim, that there was no one else at the scene. Then he apparently fled without having been seen. I did! But if that's the case, surely this man has to be the culprit. Ugh, you! What did you just say? Nothing. I didn't say anything. Oops. Perhaps I thought that a little loudly. Actually, that's not what was troubling me. What I was thinking was, how did Sasaki-san actually come to be arrested? Sorry? He didn't touch the victim, and there was nobody at the scene to see him. So how did the police ever discover that he was there in the first place? Oh, yes, she's right. It was him. That accursed great detective. He led the police to me. Of all the bad luck. Accursed great detectives. Herlock Sholmes! I shall never forget that man's name as long as I live, with his haughty laugh and his self-proclaimed greatness. Brash, big-headed busybody, be gone! May you be cursed to the end of your days, Herlock Sholmes! I knew it! Yes! More Herlock! Let's fucking go! Yes, yes, give him to me. I want to team up with him again. Well, I didn't expect to hear that name from this man's lips, that's for sure. It was the morning after that nightmare had unfolded on the pavement before me. I was gnawing on a sliver of hard cheese when some men suddenly burst through the door. They started shouting at me, "This is the police! Put the weapon down!" Yes, it was a thin sliver, and yes, it was hard, but I wasn't eating a weapon! Disgusting dietary discrimination devils! You certainly had a trying morning yesterday. And there he was, in the middle of all the policemen, grinning like a Cheshire cat. That Herlock Sholmes. It's actually just Herlock Sholmes. He's English. I've since found out he's a famous name in detection here in London. Yes, the great detective really is very well known. And his overly sharp mind managed to deduce my whereabouts, apparently. He thinks I'm the knife-wielding madman. Me, this weak, stooped kitten of a man. I wonder what great deduction process led him to his conclusion this time. Do you mean to say that Mr. Sholmes' deduction was the only reason the police arrested you? That would be really most unreasonable. Well, the thing is, I was thrown into a panic when they barged their way in. Of course you were. That's only natural. I was terrified and trembling. They kept throwing question after question at me in impossible English. Fiendish foreign flim-flammery. Well, we are in England. You can't really blame them for questioning you in English. Good point, but my mind went blank. I knew I had to answer, but I didn't know what to say. So I just kept repeating things like, "Yes, I do," and "I'm fine." Next thing I know, I was in manacles. Before I knew it, I was thrown in here. Oh dear, I'm afraid that's hardly surprising. I'm fine? He's not fine now. Mr. Naruhodo Esquire! Oh, you can just call me Naruhodo. And when we're speaking English, a simple Mr. is more than enough. Oh, yes, alright, yes. They've really got to me. This country is poisoning my mind. But please, I beg you to defend me in court tomorrow. You can tell them what really happened. You'll do it, won't you? Well, why? Why is it so hard to say yes to me? Well, the thing is, I'm just a student like yourself, on a study tour. A student? I have defended a case in the Old Bailey. Only the one, though. But at this moment in time, I really don't know what I'm supposed to believe in. I'm confused about what justice in this country even means. Oh, Naruhodo-san. Not even the foreign student who was supposed to be here. I'm the sort of locum lawyer, I suppose. But that armband, that's the mark of a defense lawyer from our great empire. It's a keepsake from the man who should have been here. He was my best friend. A keepsake? I know exactly what they're saying about me. Oh, what do you mean? The lawyers. All the British defense lawyers. They won't defend me. Goodness. Why do you say that? For the same reason as you noted before. When it happened, there was only the victim and myself around, and I ran away from the scene of the crime. I'm not a fool. I know it looks as though I must be the culprit. It must be very hard for you, Soseki-san. And anyway, I'm a student from overseas. I'm just a foreign nobody to them, someone not to be trusted. I heard them openly laughing about me before, in my earshot without any compunction at all. Any trial for this man would be a waste of time, they said, and of course the foreigner did it. Even had the gall to say, the man doesn't understand half of what's being said anyway. That's awful. They're wrong. I've studied more English than half of the policemen out there on the streets. I've traveled halfway around the world to learn about these people's country and its great history. But no one here wants to listen to a man with a strange accent. They all hate me. So, at the very least, I'd like to entrust my fate to someone who can listen to me in my native tongue. You could do it, couldn't you? When I look into your eyes, I can see it. I can see what you've been through. Soseki-san, it's just that... Give me a little time, please. I'll do what I can for the time being. What do you mean? We shall investigate the case as thoroughly as possible. If we can find some clues, it will give us a much better chance, I'm sure. Oh, yes. Thank you. I'll be here, all alone, waiting for you. Locum student Mr. Naruhodo Esquire. We should be going then, Naruhodo-san. We have a case to prepare for. Alright, let's get moving. The scene of the crime. Let's take a look. Maybe Sholmes is still here. Ooh. That catches my eye right away. What happened to this bike? Oh, there's a snowman. Look at that. So this is where it happened. Briar Road. Ah, look, Mr. Naruhodo. Look at that regulation metal helmet. It's unmistakable. Men of Scotland Yard are here. They're investigating as we speak. That is their job, you know. But Mr. Naruhodo, to see one with my own eyes. They're often depicted in the adventures of Sherlock Sholmes, but I never dreamt I'd come this close. To a real Bobby's helmet. What? The helmet? Of course. I have to try one on one day. Well, I hope your hatty dream comes true. Aha, here's Gregson. What's the Japanese delegation doing here? Oh, Inspector Gregson. This isn't on the tourist trail, as I'm fairly sure you're well aware. Yes, of course. We're here to investigate. You've been to the holding cells, then. What do you make of the criminal? He's not a criminal, as you put it, Inspector. He's a suspect. We'll see about that. You Japanese like to stick together, I suppose. Well, do what you will. It doesn't bother me. The bloke's in court tomorrow, whatever happens, and the verdict's a foregone conclusion. Ugh, the stone-cold air of rejection. Take heart. London at this time of year is full of stone-cold air. That makes it worse somehow. Alright. Tell me a little bit about this place, a friendo. Tell me about Scotland Yard, Inspector. Ever since I read about it in The Adventures of Sherlock Sholmes, I've been fascinated by the place. The Yard is the most sophisticated policing organization you'll find anywhere in the world, madam. Oh, and you know I've always dreamt of wearing a real Bobby's helmet. It does make them look the part. Seeing that policeman there with his helmet on, you certainly get the sense that this is a man who will take no nonsense in his duty of protecting the city. Oh, yes. Doesn't he look wonderful? Being a London Bobby is hard going, I can tell you. Oh, really? First thing in the morning, you know what he does? Goes around and rouses all the laborers on his beat so they can get off to work. What? He wakes people up? Yep. Raps on the windows with a long pole. Did it myself going back a bit. I had no idea. The Bobby works for the people of the town. It's just another one of his duties. After that, he starts tirelessly patrolling the streets all day long. He has to cover 20 miles a day. That's the regulation distance. Can't really imagine how far that is, but it sounds like a long way. Let me see. 20 miles? That's approximately the distance from Tokyo to Yokohama. On foot? That's definitely taking things a step too far. When it gets dark, of course, he has the important job of lighting all the gas street lamps. Oh my. And I suppose in between all of those duties, Bobbies are expected to investigate cases as well. And chase after criminals trying to evade the law. I'm not sure you could call it in between exactly, more alongside, but yes. I expected to handle those jobs as well. We do have men keeling over from time to time, I admit. Man, imagine the police, like, in this day and age, like, coming and, like, waking you up for work. That's, very interesting. And again, I suppose this was a time before alarm clocks, wasn't it? Somebody had to wake the people up. I always dreamt of wearing one of those helmets, as I said. But it's with a heavy heart that I shall have to relinquish that dream to you, Mr. Naruhodo. Your heavy heart will be my heavy head if you do. It happened at around 5 in the evening 2 days ago. Just there on that open bit of pavement. The victim, a young woman, was stabbed with a blade from behind. Is it right that the lady is still unconscious now? You mentioned that she's being treated in the hospital. I never said she was a lady. Truth is, unless she comes around pretty smartish, we won't be able to find out much about her at all. I suppose that means they haven't been able to take a statement from her, of course. Here's a map of the local area I happen to have on me. You can take it if you want. Really? Are you sure? It's the odd policy to give lawyers, defendant, suspects the odd bit of information to go on. I haven't actually accepted the job yet, but still. Thank you, Inspector. We'll gratefully accept. Ooh, very nice. Anyway, as far as we know, there was no one else on the scene other than the victim and your fellow countrymen. So who did it, do you think? Not much of a head-scratcher, is it? Well, I know Mr. Natsume is also claiming to not have seen anyone else around. But just because he didn't see anyone, it doesn't mean we can be sure that nobody else was present. I'm sorry to have to tell you, but we most certainly can be sure. How? Because, ma'am, the precise moment of the stabbing didn't go unnoticed. What? We have 2 very reliable witnesses, no less. Ah! It was a typical foggy London day, and your client obviously didn't see them. There were witnesses now. So there were other people around. Who are these witnesses, Inspector? A fellow and his wife, and the man's one of the most reliable and respected citizens in all of London. He's a copper from Scotland Yard. Ah. A policeman? Lunar, hey! Thanks for the follow. Is that 2 different Lunars? I've been followed by 2 separate Lunars. Or is it the same Lunar with different accounts? The world may never know. But thank you anyway. That might change things a bit. And this policeman just happened to be there at the exact moment the woman was attacked. Nothing particular about that man, ma'am. Part and parcel of being a Bobby. Catching them banging the act and all that. Do you think it might be possible for us to ask that policeman a few questions? Be my guest. You can ask him what you like. In court tomorrow. Oh. I've no doubt he'll be summoned as a witness. But that'll give you something to look forward to. That's that, then. He's got no intention of letting us meet the man beforehand, it seems. The policeman witnessed the incident. As your judicial assistant, I must warn you that this could make our job very difficult indeed. Yes, as a non-judicial assistant, I could have warned me of that too. Oh, yes, one more thing, Inspector. What? The person who led you to the suspect. I hear that was Mr. Herlock Sholmes. What are you bringing him up for? Was it something I said? Color drained from his cheeks. That twitchy Japanese bloke goes on trial tomorrow. Are you gonna defend him or not? Well, makes no difference to me, but I will just say this. No London lawyer worth his salt would touch that case with a barge pole. Because the prosecution is being handled by the Reaper of the Bailey, you mean? There's no way to save the man now. It's a waste of time trying. It is all a bit strange, though. Sorry? The Reaper. He hasn't appeared in court once for a good few years now. Yes, we did hear something to that effect. The only people he usually bothers with are the real scum. The master criminals. The violent ones. Master criminals? The violent ones? That's right. He handpicks his victims. Only deals with those guaranteed to go to the gallows for their sins. But Mr. Natsumi wouldn't hang for what he's accused of, surely. That's just my point, Sunshine. Yes, the young woman was stabbed, but it didn't kill her. Couldn't even say the intent was there. So this isn't the sort of case I'd be expecting the Reaper to want to sink his teeth into, for want of a better phrase. Well, it's not exactly a minor infraction, is it? No, there's got to be more to it. Some reason he's taken an interest. Really? What sort of reason, Inspector? You think I can tell what's going on inside the head of that Lord of Darkness? You'll have to ask him yourself at tomorrow's trial. Are you really going to have to face the Reaper again? The Lord of Darkness, as he put it. Yeah. Von Zykes is a very fun character, though. Especially when he slams his leg on the desk. Who did you hear that name from? Oh, well, it was Mr. Natsume who mentioned it. He said that Mr. Sholmes was in the police when they entered his lodgings. I'm sure it was the result of one of Mr. Sholmes' inspirational great deductions. Fiddle faddle! Oh. The man's an amateur, and I'm getting sick and tired of him showing his mug everywhere. Oh. I don't know where he gets his information from, but he turns up at the scene of the crime, wanders around spotting incomprehensible rubbish, and before you know it, he claims to have solved the case. Yes, he's quite astounding, isn't he? He is a great help to Scotland Yard, though, isn't he? Gibble gabble! Ever seen this before? Oh, yes, that's Rance Magazine. A wonderful publication in which the adventures of Herlock Sholmes appears. Yes, well, that wonderful publication, as you put it, sees fit to include several of the Yard's detectives in its stories. And the so-called great detective makes a mockery of all of us. If you ask anyone at the Yard, it's a misadventure to be included in any Herlock Sholmes tale at all. Well, I suppose there is an element of that. We work our socks off, every one of us, only to be frumped by the public thanks to that obnoxious detective. The man's as dangerous to us at Scotland Yard as he is to all our criminals. That can't really be true, can it, Inspector? Clearly, the great detective and the police have a complex relationship. Well, I don't think we're going to get any more useful information out of the detective. Mr. Naruhodo, can I make a suggestion? Oh, yes, what is it? Well, it seems to me that we must speak with them about this. By him, do you mean Mr. Sholmes? Yes, Mr. Herlock Sholmes, exactly. Look at those shining eyes. You can't wait, can you? Well, Mr. Natsume did blame Mr. Sholmes for all this, didn't he? Yes, he did. He really did. Which makes him an involved party in the case. Are you just going to ignore that? I hope not. I assure you, it's not simply my selfish desire to meet with Mr. Sholmes again. The trouble is, I have no idea of the man's address even. So how... It's Baker Street! How do you know that? It's in the stories, of course. 221B Baker Street. Most famous address in the world. Yep. Oh, I see. Well, there's nothing to stop us from going, I suppose. Better try to find our way there before Susato-san gets any more excited and unpredictable. Hurrah! I'll summon a carriage! So we're to have a reunion already. The great detective, Mr. Herlock Sholmes. Alright, let's investigate the crime scene now. Snowman. What a delightful snowman. Didn't realize the English had a tradition of making snowmen as well. Looks a little creepy, though. Oh, it has a scarf, look! You'd need one if you were out in this freezing cold all the time. Wish I had one. Afraid our budget is somewhat frozen at the moment, too. We certainly can't afford a scarf. Hey, Mabel, welcome back. Surely the snowman here wouldn't miss his. The person who made the snowman certainly would. Yes, I know, you're right. Anyway, even if I borrowed it, it wouldn't do much to warm my neck, would it? It's covered in snow. Let's see. Oh, police carriage. Oh, that's a Scotland Yard carriage. They use vehicles like that to rush to the crime scenes and cart away criminals. You're very well informed, aren't you? It's long been a dream of mine to ride one of those through the streets of London. I'll just pick up a stone and throw it through one of the windows then. That would mean being arrested in order to ride it. Wouldn't it? Still, it's the only way. Help me find a good stone! Oh, wait, no! No, I wasn't serious. Alright, let's see. What's that say? William Robbins. What's that say? Practical optician? I think that says practical optician. It's one of the officers from Scotland Yard. The police are making sure the crime scene is undisturbed. I have a feeling that if we wander too close, we'll be clapped in irons. I think perhaps you're being a little overcautious. We've done nothing wrong, so we have no cause for concern. Oh, no, I'm not getting caught out again. Twice is enough. Twice I've found myself in handcuffs, despite not knowing a thing about what was going on. Yes, you've had some dreadful experiences. I'm sure it's that wide-eyed look of panic you're so prone to. It does you no favors at all. Ugh. This patch of pavement must be where the incident occurred. Yes, it's a very wide open space, isn't it? It's true. I can't see anywhere an attacker could have been hiding. Oi! What are you foreigners doing here? We just investigating the scene. Conspiring with that mustached fella from Japan, are you? Conspiring? Come here to destroy evidence, have you? Get out of here before I give you an hiding. Go on. He shoot us away like rats. Yes, we should give him a wide berth, I think. What a disappointing experience. Let's see. Let's check the other side then. Look at this bike. This is important. Oh, a British bicycle, look. Although the wheel is so misshapen, I'm sure it couldn't possibly be ridden anymore. Someone must have been doing some breakneck cycling. It seems bicycles have become extremely popular in London recently. There's even a movement to change women's dress to allow them to ride as well. Bicycle fad won't last. I don't see why anyone would want to ride something like that. Goodness, do you dislike bicycles? No, not at all. I mean, it's not that I dislike them exactly. It's just that any occupation that involves taking both of your feet off firm ground seems reckless. If you ever tried walking on stilts and fallen into a river, I know you'd agree with me. I'll have to hire a bicycle sometime. You can sit behind me while I ride you around. Yeah, really? Oh, look at the windows of that building there. Are you sure they're windows? Yes, but they're all filled in with bricks. Oh, you're right. I wonder why. Perhaps this is an empty property where nobody lives at the moment. There's smoke coming from the chimneys, though. Oh dear, everything still feels very foreign. There's so much we have to learn about this place. That is a little strange, isn't it? That's a rather typical old brick building, isn't it? I'm sure it has a long and interesting history. Well, time certainly seems to have taken its toll on the place. It's crooked and sagging all over. In fact, it looks decidedly in worse shape than the other houses around here. We must find some cheap lodgings ourselves as soon as possible. Yes, you're right. Cheap, but ideally within reasonable Cheap, but ideally with reasonably level floors. Let's see, is there anything else around here? It's a street. There are piles of snow on the pavement here and there, but the road itself is covered in carriage tracks. It seems carriages often travel down Briar Road. It soon disperses all the snow. I slipped over when I was walking down the pavement earlier. It seems like it would be far safer to walk on the road instead. Oh, but you're rather small, Mr. Naruhodo, and dressed all in black. I worry coachmen might not see you, and you could be flattened by horses. Well, thank you for the rather small concern. Yeah, like, tripping on words is the worst. Like, the more it goes, the worse it gets. Like, sometimes I can keep, like, a really smooth flow, but other times it's just like, but yeah, like what Susato was saying, horses are scary. They're like, you don't really realize how big horses are until you're like standing next to one. They are large creatures. They're very imposing and intimidating, and they could kill you very easily. You used to ride horses. Oh, nice. My dad owns he boards horses for people, so he owns like some stables, and he takes care of people's horses for them. He gave me like a couple riding lessons when I was little, but I was never super interested in it. So that never really went very far. But yeah, horses are huge. And tip number one: never ever stand behind a horse. Do not stand behind a horse for any reason ever. Because if you spook them, they will kick. And a kick from a horse will shatter bones. Yeah, I'm royalty. I mean, look, I got the crown and everything. You see all the black smoke rising from the chimneys over there? It says here that in Great Britain, many people heat their homes with winter using coal. Only chimneys I really remember seeing in Japan were on top of the bathhouse. You think some of those houses could be on fire? Not at all. Well, even so, how much thick smoke billowing up to the heavens is surely going to turn the whole sky black sooner or later. Gosh, you may be right about that. Man, Ryunosuke, is centuries ahead of his time. God damn. The clouds look so big and heavy in the sky, don't they? Oh, the dense fog as well. Everything looks hazy. Well, it is known as Foggy London Town. I can just make out some sort of spire through the fog. Looks like it's still being built, though. Aha, yes! That must be the Crystal Tower being built for the great exhibition that's to open in 6 months' time. Apparently it's going to be very striking, glazed on all sides, and the symbolic centerpiece of the exhibition. And also, it's the Alliance raid that you'll get 99% of the time when you queue for Alliance Roulette. And you'll be sick of it within a couple of weeks, and you'll never be free of it. And people will still wipe to Cerberus every goddamn fucking time, even if there's no sprouts in the group, because people just can't remember to get in his goddamn stomach and attack the fucking stomach walls. Sorry. I got a little carried away there. It's to be the largest exposition in history, is it? I can't even begin to imagine it. Anyway, what was I doing? Ah, yeah. Have we investigated everything then? Kinda seems like it. I don't see anything else. It seems like there wasn't any, like, evidence to gather doing this either. Like, we didn't get anything added to the court record just doing this. That's a little disappointing. Alright, we gotta talk to Mr. Sholmes now. Ooh, cutscene, yes.
Thank you very much. It's just up there overlooking the street. Good day. Thanks again.
Ah,
This is
here
it.
it is.
The residence of Mr. Herlock Sholmes.
There it is. Oh, look at it. Oh, it's such a pretty place, too. Look at all the flowers. Then the pinwheel. That pinwheel is cute. Oh my god. Yo. Now this is my aesthetic. All of this, like cozy fireplace, marble, like ornate wallpaper, these super plush, like fancy, like curly, like armed, like sofas and chairs, like stuff all over the walls, paintings. God, this is my aesthetic to a T. Like this is what the Thieves Guild looks like. This is what the inside of the guild looks like. So this is where the great detective makes his living. It feels surreal to be here somehow. Oh, yo. It's as described. Is it as described in the stories, Miss Sasato? Oh, she's just lost. Sasato-san. Many famous cases have been solved here in this very room. Oh, I suppose they must have been, yes. Never read the story, so it's hard to get quite as excited about as she seems to be. The detective chases the villain relentlessly as he disappears into the fog down an unlit London street. Oh, the thrill of it, the romanticism. Can't you feel your heart thumping in your chest? Can't you, Mr. Naruhodo? Oh, I suppose I can, yes. So if you don't mind, I'll just stand here and soak up the atmosphere for a while longer. Please, don't mind me. Ah, she's obsessed. Well, looks like our detective friend isn't home at present. Excuse me, is anybody home? Oh, do we have a visitor? There she is! I knew it! 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 This has got to be Watson, right? Tell me this is Watson. Hello? Is it a big new case for Mr. Sholmes? Hello? Wait. Aren't you... Oh, how rude of me. I'll go and make some tea at once. I'm sure it's the same girl. Mr. Sato, did you see the girl who was just here? Oh, yes. Isn't it truly extraordinary? To think that the King of Bohemia came to this very room to ask Mr. Sholmes to take on his case. The King of Bowaria? Bohemia, you know, well known for their for the poor weather there, you know. Thunderbolts and lightning, very, very frightening me. It's times like this. I wish I should set up like my stream deck to have like cricket sounds. Just imagine cricket sounds right now, okay? Just imagine them for now. King Wilhelm Gottschalk, Sigismund von Ormstein, of course. sorry, I'm drawing a blank. Forget the adventures of Herlock Sholmes for a moment and look over there. The tea's brewed, and I have freshly baked cake as well. Ah, it's you. I knew it. Susato-san recognizes her too. Ah, there you are. And taking that with you as well. I was looking forward to the trial run of my experimental smoke grenade launcher. Oh, good day to you. I'm, well, the inventor, I suppose, of that machine. Look at her. Tiny. Oh, look at the little, like the keychains on her backpack. Oh my god. Wait a minute. Oh my god, look. It's her and Herlock Sholmes. Ah, my heart. Oh my god. Oh, Christ, my heart. It's the girl who turned up the end of Mr. McGilda's trial in the defendant's antechamber. I never met a lawyer from the Far East before. Or you having to get straight to work when you've only just arrived in London. Oh, yes, it was challenging. Well, try this tea. It's my special blend, you know? Oh, thank you. Is tea supposed to look that color? Oh my, what a fragrant yet mellow flavor. Hooray! It's a winner! I tried blending different leaves designed to alleviate fatigue, you see. You must be exhausted after your long voyage here. You must have and you have another ticklish trial tomorrow. Oh, and you're to defend a Japanese man. I do wish you lots and lots of luck. Did Mr. Sholmes tell you about us by any chance? Oh, you know Hurley, do you? Hurley? Mr. Sholmes to you, surely. Mr. Sholmes was a fellow passenger on the boat that brought us to Great Britain, you see. Was he really? Well, I had no idea. I'm afraid Hurley's out on an errand again today, even though he's just returned from overseas. Wait a minute. I met this girl for the first time ever yesterday after the trial, and only briefly at that. How on earth does she know so much about us? Did she deduce all those things, do you think? And perhaps more to the point, why is she here in Mr. Sholmes' suite? Oh, silly me, I haven't introduced myself, have I? Do it. Say Watson. It's a great pleasure to meet you both. My name is Iris Wilson. Ah! I was so expecting Watson. I was so expecting Watson. Oh no, wait. Oh, is she the daughter of the guy who was the victim in the very first case? Because his last name was Wilson. And he had traveled to Japan from Great Britain. And, Ah, Iris, is it? What a lovely name. What? What's the matter? No, wait, this can't be. Did you say that your name is Wilson? What's the matter with Susato-san? Why is she so flustered all of a sudden? Yes, that's right. And what are your names? Oh, I'm Ryunosuke Naruhodo, a lawyer from Japan. Oh, sorry. I'm Mr. Naruhodo's judicial assistant, Susato Mikotoba. It's wonderful to meet you. I think Susato realized as well. Lovely. Susie and Runo. Got it. Susie and Runo? Susie? And Runo? There's more to this girl than meets the eye. I have so many questions for her, I don't know where to start. Yes, and so do I. Actually, wait a minute. Okay, so she said she's the inventor of all that stuff, right? I need to see something. Cause what the fuck? She's 10 years old. How'd she invent all that shit? How? Child genius. Holy shit. I just had to check. I had to check to just see if she really was like a small child or just short. No, she's 10 years. What the fuck? How are you doing this? That's amazing. She's like a cute Jimmy Neutron. It was you that we ran into yesterday, wasn't it? At the Old Bailey. Yes, that's right. You were ever so helpful. Thank you so much. Oh no, not at all. I'm sorry we couldn't have been more welcoming. Though at the time, we did have a rather large gun pointed at us. There it is. Like this. Thinking back now, you left with Mr. Lestrade in tow, didn't you? Oh, yes, that awkward witness, Gina Lestrade. Oh, Ginny? Yes, she's a professional pickpocket. So we found out. It was very naughty of her to pinch my invention like that. Are you referring to that trial-disrupting, gun-like contraption? Exactly. So I followed her, you see, to get it back. Perhaps I should think about fitting a self-destruct mechanism in my inventions. This girl is dangerous. Anyway, I brought Ginny back here after that, so she could apologize to my trusty technician. Sorry, your technician? Hurley, of course, silly. Hurley? Yes, Herlock. Herlock Sholmes. We live here together. I had no idea the great detective had such an interesting young daughter. Daughter? Not likely. What? I wouldn't call him Hurley if he was my father, would I? Well then, what is your relationship with Mr. Sholmes? Well, I expect you found that lodgings of any kind in London are very expensive. So the solution is to share the cost with a partner, a roommate. Your roommates. I hope you don't mind me asking, Iris, but how old are you? 10 at last this year. Well, what of your mother and father? Oh no, they're not around. Oh, I see. Wonder what the story is there. Oh, boy. Oh yes, there's something I must ask you. Of course. Go ahead, Susie. I'm a very great fan of The Adventures of Herlock Sholmes and... Oh, you have a copy of Rance magazine. Yes, I read every issue. It's delivered all the way to Japan on the ship. Oh, this is so exciting! My stories are being read on the other side of the world. My stories? That's right. Hurley is always solving such amazing cases, you see, and he tells me all about them. They really are quite fascinating. It would be such a shame if I was the only one who ever heard them, don't you think? Goodness! Last night, he was telling me all about a new case he just solved on a steamship traveling from a faraway land. So I was just in the middle of typing up the manuscript for the next issue before you came. So you're the author? Yes. I'll let you in on a secret if you like. I'm going to call this latest adventure The Speckled Band. Speckled Band? That's certainly very familiar. Of course, I always change one or two details in the stories, here and there. This time, I had the idea of making a venomous snake be the cause of all the trouble. Oh, that was Mr. Sholmes' first thought as well, actually. Yes, and of course I know that a snake might not be a credible fit for the facts of the case exactly, but... It's a story. Some poetic license is justified to make it more thrilling, I think. Don't you? So you mean to say... the stories about Mr. Sholmes that are published in Rance magazine... all written by me? Yes, on my wonderful and very modern typewriter. But all the stories I've ever read are written by a doctor of medicine, Dr. John H. Wilson. Sada-san's getting more and more worked up. Ah, yes, that's me. I mean, my name really is Wilson. But what about the doctor of medicine part? That's all true, too. I am a doctor of medicine. Sorry, what? No, at 10 years old? At 10 years old. Well, that's quite incredible. But, Dr. Wilson is an English gentleman. Ah, yes. I did alter the settings slightly for the stories to be more compelling. Oh. Well, it sounds a little strange, doesn't it? A great detective with a 10-year-old girl in tow? I suppose it does, yes. Truth is stranger than fiction. In fiction. Poor Susato-san. She looks like her whole world is just falling apart. Deductions just now. About before. Yes? What's on your mind, Runo? Do tell me. How did you know that I was a lawyer and we just arrived in London, I mean? Yes. Oh, and that we have a difficult trial tomorrow. How did you know all that? Oh, that's what you mean. Please tell us how you did it. Explain every detail. Of course, I'd be delighted. Although, there's really no mystery. Now, let's begin. Iris Wilson is proud to present her Logic and Reasoning Spectacular. We get to do another one? She gets her own? Yes! First of all, I knew already that you were a lawyer, Runo. After all, I met you yesterday at the Old Bailey in the defendant's antechamber. But you also said that we'd only just arrived in London. How did you know that? I observed a passport and travel ticket protruding from your breast pocket. Oh, I was reasonably confident that you must have only just arrived in the country. And on top of that, you accepted a case against that particular prosecutor, telling me you were unaware of London's court affairs. The Reaper of the Bailey? I walked right into that one, didn't I? Then I noticed a red ink stamp on the back of Susie's hand. You were given that when you visited the local prison to meet with a suspect, weren't you? Earlier today. Ah. They use those stamps to keep a close eye on comings and goings, you see. I didn't realize. And a red stamp is only used for people visiting foreign inmates. So, that told me that even though you had only yesterday concluded the trial of Magnus McGilded, the two of you had already had cause to visit a foreign inmate at a local prison. However, neither of you was wearing a particularly sad expression on your face, so I concluded that the prisoner was unlikely to be a friend or a relative. That led me to believe that you must have accepted a new case. I see. But how could you have known that the trial is tomorrow? Well, having barely been home a few hours yesterday, Hurley solved yet another case. It obviously amused him. He told me that he'd caught a Japanese man who was bawling and trembling. A Japanese man? Well, clearly that must have been Mr. Natsume. Now, Runo has that fancy Japanese sword. And I think your outfit is called a kimono, isn't it, Susie? Well, anyway, it was clear to me that you both come from Japan yourself. So I put two and two together and decided you must be defending the Japanese man Hurley caught. And there was only one conclusion those facts could lead me to. You both came here to ask Hurley about the case. God damn. Sharp as a tack. There's a note on the mantelpiece that says the man's trial will be tomorrow. Hurley is always stabbing his notes with a knife, you know. He is silly. And that's all there was to it, really. Thank you for listening. I'm Iris Wilson. That was one of my great deductions. God, she's wonderful. I love her. Well, was it a winner? Were my deductions correct? They were spot on. That was amazing, Iris. Truly a great deduction. We even managed to ascertain something of Mr. Sholmes' delivery. Oh, well, I was just copying Hurley's style for that. This is really very good news. You could tell us all about the case involving the Japanese man. You will, won't you, Iris? Please. Heck yeah. So yesterday, Mr. Sholmes apprehended a Japanese man, you were saying? Yes. Hurley had just arrived back in London after his sea voyage. God, I No way I yawn so much, man. Ugh. But the police were waiting for him at the railway station to take him directly to the crime scene. Ah, the great detective is a popular man, it seems. Apparently, a woman was stabbed on a quiet street somewhere in town. There were witnesses who had seen a short, shifty-looking stooped man running away from the scene. A short, shifty-looking stooped man. Mr. Natsume, beyond any doubt. Soseki-san said that he hadn't been able to see that he didn't see anyone else on the street at all. It seems there were witnesses after all. Hurley used his great detective powers to determine the man's address. It was a lodging room very nearby. He went directly there with the police, and what did they find? A short, shifty-looking stooped man, shivering in fear. Mr. Sholmes' great deduction certainly hit the mark that time. Of course it did. He's a great detective. Still, that means the incident occurred only 2 days ago. Surely tomorrow is too soon for the trial, isn't it? Definitely. We have no time to investigate properly. Hurley says that London is rife with crime. Oh. Scotland Yard is doing its best, but they can't stay on top of it, apparently. Oh dear. I hadn't realized the situation was so dire. That's why they can't afford to spend too much time investigating cases and trying the criminals in court. Staff and money are both short. Crimes are usually pinned on the first suspicious person. That's terrible. I suppose it's the harsh reality of the workings of the world's greatest justice system. I suppose it is. But in that case, I don't hold out much hope for Soseki-san. Hey, Krongi, how's it going? How you doing? Good afternoon. How are you, friend? Thank you for answering so many of our questions, Iris. This has been very informative. Oh, you're most welcome. I've had so much fun. Do you happen to know where Mr. Sholmes is at the moment? As you guessed, we'd like to ask him some questions about this case as well. Well, I expect Hurley is still investigating the scene. Of the case involving Mr. Natsume, you mean? Yes, Mr. Natsume? Hurley said he was going to the man's lodgings. If you leave now, you'll probably catch him there. Iris, do you know where those lodgings are? Well, I imagine the police are still investigating the scene of the crime themselves, aren't they? Did you happen to come across a detective by the name of Gregson when you were there? Yes, we know Inspector Gregson. Ah, goody. In that case, give Gregsy this from me, will you? If you do that, I'm sure he'll tell you what you want to know. What is this? A 5-shilling piece and a postcard, it seems. It reads, "Tell the gentleman in black whatever he wants to know. I trust that won't be a problem." Gosh, this will make the inspector help us, will it? Well, thank you, Iris. We'll give it a try. It looks like we're going to be bribing Gregson. Good luck, then. I'm going to return to writing my manuscript, The Speckled Band. I'll be making more special blends of tea, so come back soon. We'd be delighted. Thank you so much, Iris. Bribery, an old British tradition. Ooh, tabletop games, nice. So, somewhat dubious that they would exert any influence over the men of Scotland Yard at all. We headed back to the scene with Iris's curious note and one of the world's heaviest silver coins in hand. So that's just the first part. We're not even to the actual trial yet. Interesting. So this is going to be one of the first ones with an actual an investigation phase and a trial phase. Because so far, like, the first one was just a trial, the second one was just an investigation, and then the last one was, and then the third one was just a trial. So this one's gonna be both. Like, finally, like, classic Ace Attorney formula. Looks as though the police are still here carrying on with their investigation. Perfect. So let's find Inspector Gregson as quickly as possible. Yes, and let's see if he'll take a break from his chips to look at that silver tip Iris gave us for him. Actually, oh, I can investigate this. Let me take a look. His little handwriting is adorable, isn't it? Tell the gentleman in black whatever he wants to know. I trust that won't be a problem? Yes, the handwriting might be adorable, but the message is ominous. There's no room for sentiment there. I'm sure it's simply the way you're interpreting it, Mr. Naruhodo. Anyway, I do hope the inspector will tell us what we need to know when he reads it. You don't think it will make him just munch piping hot chips until steam comes out of his ears, do you? Well, that wouldn't be an entirely terrible outcome. Let's see. Yeah, I want to take a look at this shilling. This is a 5-shilling piece, isn't it? I believe it's called a crown. Yes, and you can train a Scotland Yard detective to do whatever you want with just a single one. Iris must be the most powerful 10-year-old in the world. How much is 5 shillings, by the way? What's it really worth? Well, it's probably enough to buy all the chips the inspector could possibly eat in a whole month. That's greasy. I haven't examined this one yet, either. So, Calabash Road, Fire Road. Okay, so there's not much to this one. Here you go. Inspector Gregson, do you have a moment? I'm sorry to say I don't. I'm a very busy man. Much too busy to talk to a pair of foreign gadabouts, that's for sure. We have these for you. A present from Miss Iris Wilson. What? From me? From her ladyship? Her ladyship? Give that here. At once! Come on, hand it over. That's from me! Don't wait for me to give it to you, will you? What was that coin exactly? It's a silver crown, obviously, but it's a lot more than that. It's, well, it's an appearance fee, that's what it is. An appearance fee? Oh, I see. You mean... That's right. For the adventures of Herlock Sholmes. Her ladyship always offers me a little financial reward for featuring me. Every time. Yes, of course. I know all about your exploits, Inspector. I read them avidly. Of course, her using my name without my say-so does make me the butt of unpleasant jokes, but still. I am sorry, Inspector. That must be difficult for you. Never you mind that. So, what do you want to know then, eh? Sorry? Tell the gentleman in black whatever he wants to know. I trust that won't be a problem, it says. Well, obviously it's not a problem, so go on, fire away. What do you want to know? Well, if you wouldn't mind, Inspector, we'd very much like to know the address of Mr. Natsume's lodgings. Ah, the little knife-wielding mustached Japanese fellow. He lives in a right old hovel. It's just over there, look. Oh, the bricked-up building? Oh, damn. On the first floor of that house in the corner is where that wreck of a bicycle's propped up. That is nearby indeed. If I remember rightly, the landlord is a Mr. John Garadib. What's that? I'm trying to read that backwards. That's Bedarag? No, okay. I thought maybe that was something spelled backwards. It doesn't seem to be. Right, well. You see her again. You make sure you give her ladyship my regards, you hear? I mean it. You tell her that Gregson sends his very best wishes. Don't worry, Inspector. We will. Goodbye for now, then. And long live her ladyship. Damn. Iris just, like, regarded like a straight-up princess at this point. Rightfully so, honestly. She's just a tiny queen. Yes, so then, shall we go and see what we can find in Mr. Natsume's lodgings? Definitely. Alright, let's go. Oh, Lord, what a mess. Who? Why does he just have a cannon? Who just has a cannon? And mortar shells, for that matter. I mean, okay, clearly he was, like, in the army at some point, but, like, why did they let you keep the cannon and the shells? Why were you allowed to just hold on to that? Oh, there's a maid. May I help you? Yes, would this be the residence of Mr. John Garadeb? Indeed it would, sir. And who may I say is calling? My name is Ryunosuke Naruhodo. Mr. Naruhodo is representing Mr. Soseki Natsume. I believe he takes lodgings here. Look at that smile. We would very much like to ask him some questions about our client. One moment, please. I shall convey the message to Mr. Garadeb. Hey, Infinite, how's it going? Glad you can make it. Did you see that, Mr. Sato? That was a real-life English maid. I know. As I understand it, anyone of standing in English society employs a number of household staff. But that was the first time I've ever seen one in the flesh. Oh, this day just keeps getting better. What are you talking about? There was a maid on the jury in the last trial. Susato, you goofball. It certainly feels like we've really arrived now, doesn't it? We need only to meet a butler, and the experience will be complete. I'm not sure if I'd go that far, but I understand the sentiment. Thank you for waiting. Mr. Garadeb will see you now. This way. Oh my god, look at him. Crescent moon shape. Let me look around here. Good day to you. John Garadeb at your service. Pleased to meet you, sir. This is Ryunosuke Naruhodo. He's a defense lawyer. Do excuse me not getting up. I took a shot to the knee a few years back in the Battle of Maiwon, don't you know? Earned a medal for my pains, but had to withdraw from service. Handed over the reins to the up-and-comings. So he's a retired soldier. It's a hell of a job getting up and down the stairs now, I can tell you. Don't get out much, as you can imagine. Yes, it's quite a climb up here to the second floor, isn't it? I was panting at the top of the stairs. You really must take more exercise, Mr. Naruhodo. Do you think so? Playing Gunfire Reborn instead of doing anything creative. I mean, that's fair. Well, Mr. Garadeb, no doubt you were very courageous to earn yourself a medal. Oh, it was nothing. Medal's just a folderol, really. I wouldn't like to offend the general, though. So I grudgingly displayed it on the wall. Why don't you fetch it down, Joan? Let these good people see it properly. Joan, fetch the... Oh! Dash it all, woman, be careful! Oh, dearie me. I beg your pardon, sir. Humph. Jolly nearly took the skin off my hands. Shall be more careful, sir. Jesus Christ. The man's got first-degree burns now. So anyway, there you have it. Living the quiet life now. Yes, I see. Now then, I hear you want to know about the chap lodging downstairs. Is that right? Yes. We would be very grateful if you could answer some questions for us. Only two, please, naturally. It helps to keep the peace here in Blighty. We forged an alliance with the Empire of Japan recently, as I'm sure you're aware. This case is very much in the public eye, as it were. Oh, is it? We had some famous detective poking around, you know. In this old house, would you believe? Yes, Mr. Herlock Sholmes. Could have been. Didn't catch the chap's name. Not really my cup of tea, all that detective business. Oh, but you have a copy. You have a copy of Rance magazine here, so. No. Anyway, the chap's name investigating the floor in his room as we speak. So he's in Soseki-san's room. It's a bally nuisance is what it is. The whole neighborhood's twitching its curtains now. I don't like all this fuss. It's jolly unsettling. Tell me more about Mr. Natsume. Ah, yes, the Japanese chap. Only been lodging here for a week. Oh, just 1 week? So you moved in very recently, then? I have 2 lodges most of the time, one on the ground floor and one just below us. This floor room became available a week ago, you see. There've been... Oh! Dash it all, Joan, do be careful! Oh, my goodness, I'm terribly sorry, sir. You want to know my opinion? I thought he was a shady sort from the moment I set eyes on him. Look at the cheek jiggle. He sure is stirring his tea with his pipe. Oh, why? Look at that. Look at the wobble. This is what happens when you smack my cheeks, too. Sorry, what? I had a brainworm. I didn't hear what I just said. Anyway. He seemed to have a most nervous disposition, always shaking and looking over his shoulder. The man had shady written across his sweat-soaked brow, if you ask me. I said to myself, Joan, that man is trouble. Sooner or later, he's going to do something untoward. And I'm rarely wrong about anything. We wouldn't be calling this maid as a witness, that's for sure. Was there anything else that struck you as suspicious about the man at all? Yes! Oh, yes, indeed there was. And she's dying to tell us. It's my bonking bat. I can't escape bonking, neither will you. No! No, you can't bonk me. This is my stream. I'm allowed to be... I'm allowed to be horny on my stream if I want to be. It's my stream, not yours. Dumbos. It's not my fault. I'm all caked up with nowhere to go. Anyway, what was I doing again? Ah, right. Have you noticed anything else at all about your lodger, Mr. Natsume? Lodger, Mr. Natsume? Oh my word, yes! The man was shadier than an orchard. Could you elaborate? Well, take the man's room. Absolutely stuffed full of books it is, more than anyone could ever read. And he never so much as passes the time of day with another living soul. I haven't seen a single visitor call. He just trots off to that old bookshop every single day, and comes back at least at 5 to light the gas fire. The funny little man is up long past the time everyone else in the house has gone to bed, too. Oh, I see. The gentleman on the ground floor goes to bed at around 9 each night. But I've never known that Japanese fellow to retire any earlier than 2 in the morning. Oh, so it's me. He's just me. And a points reward that falls bonking answers the cat. Look, the closest you got is the one that makes me, like, jiggle my thighs for you. You can have that one. I mean, honestly, an automatic bonk reward is entirely possible. I know, Catboy Mech has one. Might not be a bad idea. Just kind of rip that off a little bit. Could you clarify something, I wonder? What, pray? How do you know so much about Mr. Natsume's routine? Oh! I'd understood that neither of the lodgers live on this floor in the house. Is that correct? I have a thigh jiggle, but still saving up. Oh, Christ. No, Shy, just go for the thigh jiggle. Do it. You can always get more points later, right? You can always get more points another time. You know, you don't need to save for that. You really don't need to. I mean, you're saving for the 100k waste, right? Like burning a whole bunch of guild seals. Definitely, probably, surely. That's right. They're both below us on the first floor and street level. Then, how is it that you know so much about the lives of your lodgers? The precise times that they come back in the evening, for example. Even the times they go to bed. Oh! Good grief, Joan! Be more careful, woman! Oh my goodness, sir. I'm terribly sorry, sir. Something doesn't add up here. So tell me about the incident 2 days ago. Seems that the incident took place around 5 in the evening. Did you happen to look out the window at around that time? A window? Yes, we noticed that the window over there looks out over Briar Road. The incident took place on the pavement just on the far side of the street. Was there anyone suspicious loitering nearby? 5 o'clock is dinner time in the Garadeb household, so I'm afraid I don't remember seeing anything. How about you, Joan? No, sir. It would have been dusk outside already at that hour. And with the fog as well, I should think it would have been quite impossible to see the other side of the road. Oh, I see. Did you notice anything else out of the ordinary, then? Such as... anything at all, even if it seems unrelated. Well... yes? Was there something, then? Nothing particularly significant, but around that sound of... Arrgh! For the love of God, Joan, watch what you're doing! Oh, dearie me, what have I done? I'm awfully sorry, sir. Do be more careful, woman. Of course, sir. If I may, Mr. Naro Hollow. Oh, yes? I have an exceedingly good memory, and as far as I remember, nothing of any significance took place here at that hour. Nothing at all. Oh, really? Mr. Garadeb? The way we were talking before, it sounded rather like there might have been. Oh, well, as I was saying, it was just a trifling matter, really. Nothing of... Arrgh! Joan, dash it all! What is the matter with you, woman? Begging your pardon, sir. Nothing happened. Yes, quite. Exceedingly suspicious. Nothing happened. We just sat down to a quiet, uneventful meal. Joan? That's right, Mr. Garadeb. What is the matter with these two? Yeah, she's just trying to shut him up. Sounds like something happened in this room on the evening of the incident, but what? I wish I knew. Could you tell us which floor Mr. Natsume's room is on? Why, certainly. Just below us on the first floor. Mr. Sholmes is investigating there, even as we speak? Yes, told me Knott's name. I had asked him to look into the matter, so I gave him the key. Mr. Natsume has engaged Mr. Sholmes' services. That's a blatant lie. It'd be alright if we also had a look around. In Mr. Natsume's room, I mean. I don't see why not. It's just down one flight of stairs. Hey, welcome back again, Mabel. Who cares if we find anything that could help us with the case, but we have to try. We need all the clues we can lay our hands on, shall we? Yes, and while we're there, we can speak with Mr. Sholmes again. Perhaps he'll be able to tell us more. He'd be shaking to see and stirring his tea with his pipe. Does Ryo say drink a lot of tea, then? I actually don't drink much tea myself. Like every now and then I'll get like a peach tea, but like an iced peach tea if it's available from somewhere, but that's not too often. Oh, a lot? Oh, wow. That uniform looks fairly ancient, doesn't it? It's clearly been well looked after, though. That old thing? Pah, much better than rags, really. Oh? Wore that ceremonial garb at my retirement bash, you know. But I'm not one for dwelling on the past, me. Would have gladly thrown it out, but you know how it is. Anyway, doesn't hurt to have the odd piece of memorabilia lying around, does it? Oh, I see. Perhaps we should leave the past in the past. I would like to investigate the cannon, please. That's a full-size cannon! What's it doing in here? Oh my, it's real. I thought it might be a replica. That old thing? Bah, it's little more than a toy. Sorry? The army was selling it off when I retired, so I decided to give it a new home. Never know when the enemy might attack next. Jolly useful to have a cannon about the house. Really? Isn't it overkill? Be prepared, I always say. You never know what this twisted world is going to throw at you next, boy. You think there may be trouble brewing, Mr. Garadeb? Always is. Take Joan here. Never fails to have a clean apron in reserve. Tries them over in the barrel, you see. Tries them over the barrel, you see. They dry very well on the cannon there, Joan tells me. Which rather proves my point, I feel. It's been reduced to a drying rack. No wonder the huge cannon looks like it's hanging its head in shame. Yeah, I love that. That's exactly why I went the option of, rather than like having the ears like twitch when like, because like a lot of like VTubers with like animal ears, they have the ears twitch when you blink, like that. That would make the ears switch. But me, I thought it would be way more expressive if I had them tied to the eyebrows. So it's like, ooh, 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 ooh. It's like I can have them flatten when I get angry, and I can have them like perk up when I get like surprised. It's great. I love it. The only thing that I'm upset about is there is an issue with my iPhone where it's supposed to be able to track the eyebrows independently. Like if I raise one eyebrow, it's supposed to be able to see that. It can't. And I've been like back and forth with Apple support for a while now trying to get this fixed. So someday in the future, I will be able to like cock an eyebrow and give like a quizzical look and have like one ear flattened and one ear perked up. I mean, flatten them when I inevitably make a terrible pun. Yeah, Shia gets it, see? Let's see. Can I look at these mortar shells, please? Are those mortar shells? They're enormous. Oh, I hadn't noticed. What are they doing here? Ah, those old things. A couple of little rounds I accidentally fired into the barracks during training, you know. Became a bit of colorful regiment folklore at that incident. You mean you deliberately hunted out the spent shells? Well, I wouldn't say deliberately exactly. They're only scrap iron after all. Usually just thrown away, I believe. But you never know when things might come in useful, do you? Useful for what exactly? Yes, well. Joan here did manage to knock one of the bally things on my foot the other day while she was dusting. Oh no! Hadn't shed a tear since 1869 before then, you know? Nice. Maybe reconsider throwing them away. There's the medal that he doesn't really like. That looks like a Medal of Honor. And it's showcased on a very grand banner. Yes, it's displayed with some pride, I would say. Well, it bothers me that it's not straight. What, that old thing? Sorry? I should be glad to see the back of it, but the general would turn it in his grave if I disposed of it. The wall's been the best place for it. Keeps the bally thing out of my way. It's just been polished to shine by accident, I suppose. There appears to be an inscription on the medal itself. Look. Let me see. It says, for distinguished participation. Ah, kids these days and their participation medals. Well, one doesn't like to blow one's own trumpet, but I was given that for my time in the army. Can't measure an officer by the number of medals to his name, of course. Common knowledge in military circles. Alright, I think... Oh, wait a minute, what's this? Why is this all torn up here? Look at that enormous screen. It must have been put there deliberately, surely. Yes, it certainly seems like someone's trying to hide something from view. What could be behind it, I wonder? I'm going to have a very quick look. Just a little peek. Maybe let's not, Mr. Sato. I think the maid is going to head us off with a cup of tea. Ahem. Yeah. But what's this on the floor here, man? Torn up carpet, something on the floor, something back here that they don't want us to see? Yeah, gee, I wonder. I wonder who the real murderer might just be. Oh my god, look at all this broken glass and, like, ceramic. Yeah, we're coming back here, like there's a day 2 to this case for sure. Look at this crockery on display here. It's rather unusual, isn't it? Oh my, a genuine London dresser. Isn't it delightful? Although the shelves seem to be broken, and the crockery is... Oh dear, it's in pieces. It really is. The word cracked wouldn't do that chinaware justice. Ah, I wonder... Perhaps the cannon was fired at it. Yes, probably something like that. But let's not delve too deeply here. Alright, I think I've seen enough here. We're gonna move to Mr. Natsume's room. Alright. Cat! Look at the kitty! Cat. What? Just look at this place. And smell it. It's so musty in here. I suppose it's the mountains of old books that are responsible for that. I don't think I've ever seen so many books in all my life. No, me neither. It's so dark in here, too. Is that the window over there? Well, it was the window, I think, yes, once upon a time. For some reason, it's been closed up with bricks and mortar. So this is where Mr. Natsume lives. By the way, I haven't spotted Mr. Sholmes anywhere, have you? No, that's true. But according to what Mr. Garrideb told us, the great detective should be around here somewhere investigating. Let's see. Well, he'll pop up eventually, I'm sure. Look at all those books stacked up there. They almost reach the ceiling. They're all works of English literature. They all smell so musty. This volume of books to hand, you'd never be short of reading material, would you? No, what a dreamy idea. A bad dream, maybe. For me, at least. Mind you, I don't imagine the book that's at the bottom of the pile now will ever be read again. Ah, so reading it is an experience that comes but once in a lifetime, just as the tea ceremony teaches us. I certainly didn't expect the conversation to turn down the path of tea ceremony philosophy. He's even got one of them lucky cats. Oh look, it's a beckoning cat from home. It's a bit big and bulky, isn't it? Surely Mr. Natsume didn't bring that Monaki Neko all the way from Japan with him. I hardly think you're in a position to comment, Mr. Naruhodo. Are you forgetting the enormous Daruma doll that you brought in your luggage? Well, it can be dangerous traveling abroad. I wanted a lucky charm. Well, I imagine Mr. Natsume wanted the same. So this cat is sure to beckon good luck for him. It's not doing a very good job so far, is it? Mustn't say such things. I didn't say a word. Why are my eyes such a giveaway? She really is just psychic at this point. Let's see what else we got here. I wanted to look at that box, but I guess I can't. Could you even call this a window? I think so. It was a window at one time, after all. Although all that remains is a frame around some bricks now. So it really is just a wall then, isn't it? But why would anyone deliberately brick it up like that? I'm afraid I have no idea. Ha! Perhaps Mr. Natsume painted the brick design on in a fit of whimsy. Ugh, that's alarmingly feasible. Anyway, whatever the reason, the lack of ventilation in here makes this place very oppressive. It does. I imagine being cooped up in a room like this would be extremely trying. Let's see. Anything else? I can't look in the bag. Oh, scraps of paper, though. Look at all these balls of paper on the floor. There are notes scrawled all over them in English. Looks like the waste paper basket is so full they've just fallen out. I think Mr. Natsume must have been deeply immersed in his research, don't you? Or deeply averse to tidying up his mess. I wouldn't like to speculate which is closer to the truth. Alright. We've investigated everything else. Or, oh, no, not yet. The cat is last. We're doing the cat for last. That desk seems to be wedged into a crevice between the mountains of books on either side. I suppose Mr. Natsume would sit there and read while stroking his cat. Surrounded on all sides by these towering old tomes. Surely he dreamt of books every night as well. Yes, he must have done, mustn't he? Oh, what's this? It's a receipt from a second-hand bookshop. Your books. Oh yes, Mr. Natsume's name is on it, look. And the date of purchase, 2 days ago at 4:45 p.m. It's the day of the incident. That's just a short while before he was embroiled in the terrible attack. He must have been on his way back from buying some old books. Okay, we got one piece of evidence at least. And anything... Oh, look, there he is! He's showed up. We're gonna investigate the cat first, though. Very important. I love the kitty. Oh, there he goes. Bye, kitty. Oh my, what an adorable little cat. Perhaps he's looking after all the books. He's looking after all the books while his master is away. I don't know about that. He disappeared into that pile of books quick as a flash. It's a tricolor Mike, wasn't it? Do they even have that sort of cat here in Great Britain? Perhaps Mr. Natsume brought the little creature with him from Japan. That made me feel homesick now. Already? But we've only been in the country for 2 days. Well, cat's gone. Time to talk to Sholmes. What's up, my dude? Ah, look, Mr. Naruhodo. Ha, there he is. Where'd he appear from? Seems to be engrossed in the pages of an old book. Oh, yeah, Demi, he just does that. Like, he just shows up wherever he pleases. I hope you won't mind if we disturb him. Hello, Mr. Sholmes. Ah, you two. Good day. Now, let me see. Where was it we met? Oh, Mr. Sholmes. We were together on the SS Buria. Yes, of course, the Buria. And let me see. What happened on that voyage? It was Kazuma Asugi. He died, tragically. But you were a great help to us. Ah, yes, but of course. The case of Mr. Asugi. It was the one with the snake, wasn't it? Oh. Well, you seem to remember something of it, at least. What an honor to be remembered vaguely by the great Herlock Sholmes. This is Mr... Oh, no, dear madam. Hold your tongue. I pride myself on my superior powers of recollection. Your names are safely recorded in my brain attic. Miss Naruhodo and Mr. Susato. Almost. Try the other way around, Mr. Sholmes. I lose the first round. Oh, whoa. I didn't realize I was holding down the click button. I didn't mean to do that. I was holding down the click button. It just started skipping. In truth, I had hoped to invite you both to my Baker Street suite the day we arrived in London, but some Scotland Yarders ambushed me at the railway station and whisked me away to a crime scene. It was an entirely trivial case, of course. I solved the matter in no more than 30 minutes. So they apprehended Soseki-san in that short an amount of time? I'm afraid the pursuance of a new case has dulled my recollection of my past involvements a little. A little. It is a mistake to think that one's brain attic has elastic walls and can distend to any extent. There he is with the brain attic again. That would explain all the cobwebs in mine. I do my best not to forget useless facts. I do my best to forget useless facts, lest they should elbow out the useful ones. Yes, those are my own words of inimitable wisdom, you know, from an adventure entitled A Study in Scarlet. Please, there's no need to quote yourself. I don't always remember my pearls of wisdom, but fortunately, my associate pens them beautifully. He means Iris, I suppose. Mr. Sholmes, I have some extremely important questions to ask you about the trivial case you just mentioned. Goodness, what an earnest expression. My dear madam, I should be only too pleased. And this murky room is an apt place to discuss the murky case. I love this man so much. He's the best. We know this to be the lodgings of a Japanese foreign student by the name of Soseki Natsume. Seems that you assisted in his arrest, Mr. Sholmes, for the stabbing of a young woman outside here on Briar Road. Natsume. Yes, I believe it was a name rather along those lines. But Mr. Natsume denies it. Was it really justifiable to arrest him on so little? I'm sorry, Mr. Sato. I have not the slightest idea what you mean. What? Can't believe he was looking Susato-san squarely in the eye while feigning ignorance. I assure you, I am not merely feigning ignorance. It would appear that as if the pair of you are under some misapprehension. Oh? How? I assure you, I have no recollection of accusing your stupid compatriot of the crime. That doesn't make sense. The good detective of Scotland Yard made the following request of me, and I quote verbatim. We need you to ascertain the identity and whereabouts of a man seen fleeing the crime scene. Ah, a man seen fleeing. There were a number of books scattered on the pavement at the scene. From the book plates, I was quickly able to determine the bookshop from which they had been purchased. On speaking with the proprietor, I was immediately led to this address. Elementary, wouldn't you say? Yeah, I love this version where he's just like totally dramatic about his deductions. I believe there's a receipt around here somewhere from the establishment in question. So you don't think Mr. Natsume is the culprit then? That I could not tell you. But it was aggravating my faculties, hence why I returned here. However, this place is such a trove of fascinating books, I found myself quite lost in bibliophily. Bibliophily? Hang on. Hold on.
Bibliophily. Bibliophily.
Bibliophily. Do not be deceived into believing that I am a man of leisure. No, no, no. Oh, dear. Talk to me about the landlord, because the landlord seems real suspicious. Tell me, have you encountered the landlord of these lodgings? Yes, Mr. Garadeb, a retired military man. It was the first time I'd ever met a soldier from the great British institution that is the services. It was the first time I've met a maid from the great British institution that is the service. I didn't think it was that funny. I do apologize. As you may well be aware, many households in London employ a maid. Yes, I read as much in my Great Britain primer. And so conversely, whether or not a household employs a maid has come to betoken the social standings of those dwelling therein. Betoken their social standing? Sorry? Put it simply, my dear fellow. Those who employ at least a single maid are considered middle class. Those who do not are beneath that. In the upper echelons of society, of course, households employ enough staff to constitute a large family. Goodness, how extraordinary. As you can appreciate, for those on the precarious boundary between the middle and lower classes, being able to afford just one maid is of the first importance. I had no idea. And it is for precisely that reason that I find great stimulation in the situation upstairs. Specifically, in the retired army veteran, Mr. John Garadeb. God, that name really is like a pain in the ass to say. Affable as he is, the fellow is hiding something. Whether or not it imposes on the circumstances of this case, I am as yet unable to ascertain. I'm thoroughly lost on what he means to say. This room is thoroughly suffocating for the soul, my dear fellow. I assure you, any man whose lot is to dwell in a place such as this will stab somebody sooner or later. Jesus Christ. Mr. Natsume has stabbed no one. Ah, but sooner or later, as I said. I don't believe that's the issue here. About this dark little room, Mr. Sholmes. Why is there no longer a window? Do you have any idea? No window? Well, I mean, I can clearly see that there's a window of sorts. but it's been completely blocked with bricks. Ah, I see. The answer to that question is quite simple. Window tax. Window tax? What's that? Surely not a tax on windows. Precisely that. Oh my goodness. Until relatively recently, a tax was levied on households in this country by the number of their windows. Those of lesser means, having inherited a sizable and costly family home perhaps, rapidly closed windows up, while the rich opened windows here, there, and everywhere, in an effort to curry favor with those in power by furnishing them with large sums of tax money. That's very interesting and strange. How awful and unjust, forcing people to live in rooms devoid of light. Indeed, disease was rife as a result. I'm just taking a little sippy. So some 40 years ago, or thereabouts, the window tax was abolished. But its legacy remains, as you can see, in squalid lodgings such as these, for example. I suppose Mr. Natsume's stipend for living here in London isn't very generous, perhaps. It would appear so. I've done a little digging and discovered that these lodgings were offered at an extraordinarily low price. Because the room is so awful, I should think. Apparently, Mr. Natsume only moved in here about 1 week ago. Yes, that's correct. However, I don't believe the low rent is explained by the shabby nature of the accommodation. Oh? Still, that is of little relevance here. Matter not worthy of further attention. Sure? Curious now. So, Sholmes didn't accuse Natsume of anything. The police accused him based on the witness testimonies, I guess? Don't mind me just stretching out a little bit. There we go. Thank you, Mr. Sholmes. Ah, yes, Mr. Naruhodo. Was it not your intention to become a practitioner of law? You remembered that, did you? Will you perhaps be offering your services in this very matter, I wonder? To the occupant of this room, Mr. Natsume, was it? I'm not sure. Not sure? On what grounds? Well, I actually defended someone in court here only yesterday. Really? Well then, I congratulate you, sir, on an ambition realized, and so promptly, too. The thing is, it's really made me question things. Am I right to believe in my clients? To trust in their innocence? Yes, trust. Mr. Sholmes. Mr. Natsume didn't do it, did he? My dear fellow, I haven't the first idea. Oh, but I thought that's why you were here. Didn't you come back to investigate? Ah, yes, that was indeed my initial intention. There are simply too many fascinating books here. I couldn't possibly ignore them. Oh, I see. Nevertheless, there are two facts I can state quite unequivocally. The man who fled the scene of the crime 2 days ago was the Japanese occupant of this room. And there are witnesses who swear to having seen the same man commit the crime. That is all I can say. Ah, and one more thing. Oh, what is it, Mr. Sholmes? Tell us. I cannot say with any certainty whether or not it is of relevance to this case, but I am quite sure that the retired army man who owns this property is hiding something. Mr. Garadeb is? Mr. Sholmes said as much before, actually, didn't he? Anyway, at present, that is really all that plays on my mind in relation to this case. Mr. Naruhodo, as yet our investigations have uncovered nothing that could help establish Mr. Natsume's innocence. No, you're right. Perhaps it's time we probed a little deeper into Mr. Garadeb's secret. Just remember, I cannot be sure whether the landlord's secret will prove to be of relevance or not. But I wish you every success, of course, Mr. Naruhodo. A busy man indeed. Gone back to his book in the corner of the room. Alright, let's see. We should talk to Mr. Garadeb again. Ah, you pair again. Tell me, was the detective chap, I forget his name, still hard at work down there? Mr. Herlock Sholmes? Ah, yes, rings a vague bell. Well, that detective business isn't really my thing, I'm afraid. Well, Mr. Sholmes is in his element down there. Jolly good show. Another cup of tea, if you please, Joan. She gonna spill it this time? Now then, why don't you tell me what... Oh! For the umpteenth time, woman, will you watch what you're well doing? I shall be serving dinner shortly, sir. Hmm? Ah, yes, of course. Frightfully rude of me, but I'm afraid I shall have to ask you to take your leave, if you'd be so kind. Oh, yes, of course. We are deeply grateful for all your assistance. Not at all, not at all. Don't get much chance to talk with young foreigners like yourselves. It's been a pleasure. Best of luck and all that. Perhaps you could see yourselves out. According to Mr. Sholmes, Mr. Garrideb is hiding something. And since no other avenues of investigation seem open to us at the moment, perhaps we should do some digging. Let's see. Nah. Where should I head then? Back to where I rode, maybe? Probably not. I don't know why I'm yawning so much today, man. Ugh. It's like, I meant to say this earlier while we were talking about tea, but, like, I've never really drank much hot tea. Like, ever, really. Yeah, I think the only time I really remember drinking hot tea is, this, one time I was, so it was, like, I always did, like, musicals in high school, right? So one year... Oh, that's dangerous. Why are there two lit candles near all of these books? Oh, no. That's a fire just waiting to happen. But, anyway. I did, like, a lot of musicals in high school. So one year I had a pretty major singing role, but the day of the very first show, I got, I don't know what it was. I don't think it was strep, but I got some sort of throat infection, right? So, well, I can't talk to him. Anything else I can investigate here? I don't think there is. Oh! Well, there he is! But, so I had a, I had a throat infection, and my voice was absolutely gone. Like, I tried to speak and no sound came out. Like, I couldn't even make my vocal cords, like, vibrate. So I was like, okay, what am I gonna do about this? Well, my dad gave me a thermos filled with hot tea. And, like, honey. It was like a citrus tea, like an orange tea, I think. And I just, like, sipped on that throughout the day. And he gave me, like, another thermos when I got home before I went out to do the show. But by the time it was my turn to, like, sing, my voice was almost entirely back. My throat still hurt, but my voice was, like, completely back. Like, you'd never know I was sick. It, like, that is the power of tea and honey for your voice. It's something incredible, man. I remember I even got the idea, like, I asked my dad to do that for me, to give me, like, tea and honey. And I remember I got that idea from Inkheart, if you remember that book. I don't. I never actually finished it. I read, like, maybe the first chapter or two, but it was my understanding that there was the main character's father had a special power where if he read something out loud, it would become reality. And he accidentally released, like, a monster or a villain or something by doing that. So Inkheart captured him and gave him, like, tea with a ton of honey to, like, really help his voice. So his summonings would be more powerful or something like that. Aha, we meet again, my dear fellows. Good gracious, when did you sneak in here? Luck shown, sir, at your service. Whatever were you doing over by the window? I'm given to watching the evening sky as the sun sets, madam. Yet sadly, cheerful as the room downstairs undoubtedly is, it lacks an aperture for such observation. So I took the liberty of borrowing a small corner of space by the window up here. Well, keeping an eye to one's windows at dusk is the prudent thing in London. Is the prudent thing to do in London, I'm gathering. Ah, and one other thing, Mr. Naruhodo. Oh, me? I thought perhaps you might be in need of a certain great detective's great mind. Wait, he's not talking about... Is he? I didn't expect to be going through that again so soon. Do you mean, Mr. Sholmes? There's a mighty secret in this modest room. My eyes see even the most trivial of trifles. I take it you're prepared, Mr. Naruhodo? I think so. It's just time enough for one of my greatly admired great deductions. Let us conclude the matter before dark. That's a candle, isn't it? Yeah. Mr. Garrideb, though it would seem you are a military man of considerably distinguished service, your standing as a landlord is most certainly not what one might call first-rate. I'm afraid, sir, that it is all too clear to me. There are two conclusions that I've been able to draw by careful observation of your living arrangements. I beg your pardon. The first is that even as we speak, you are concealing the presence of a ferocious beast in your care. And the second, that as a result of the beast's violent rampage, you have lost something very dear to you. Mr. Naruhodo, look! The old man's broken out in a cold sweat. Unbelievably, it seems Mr. Sholmes' conclusion are both spot on. How could you possibly... How could I possibly know, you mean to inquire? The answer couldn't be simpler, sir. For in the dense jungle of logic and reasoning, I am the king of beasts. My God. I know only too well that wild beasts are not easily tamed. So, shall we begin? Once again, Herlock Sholmes is proud to present his logic and reasoning spectacular. Oh, let's go. Nature of the beast. Certainly shouldn't take a great detective to see that a fearsome beast has been on the rampage of late within these four walls. Thus we are faced with the question, what form might this beast take? For a man with military breeding, your eyes are uncommonly candid. Your furtive glance, Mr. Garrideb, leads us directly to the answer. True nature of the beast that has run rampant here is revealed by that lion statue. Yes, though an army man, you appear unimposing at best. The fact that has fueled your admiration for the mighty lion, the king of beasts. What is this piffle, I ask you? In the end, your admiration became so great, in fact, that you had a living, breathing specimen shipped from India, which you tried to keep in this very house. What? Wait, what was that? I saw something on his eye. Was that a scar? Or a burn or something? Yet living with such a wild beast proved more difficult than you had imagined. Chilling traces of a wild rampage are still very much in evidence. Well. Yet as we look around, the beast in question fails to present itself. Where could this angry creature have disappeared to? Madam? Me? I pray you do not consider me unchivalrous. It is plain to me with one glance in your direction. It is. Your dress pocket gives us a handsome clue as to Beast's current whereabouts. But protruding from it is a handbill advertising a circus show. Yes, you sought to dispose of this terrifying lion, Mr. Garadeb, at Betty's Circus, a traveling show currently sojourning in a nearby park. I have observed the tents. You sold the savage lion, sir, to the circus troupe. I most certainly did not. I believe I've made my point. The fearsome beast which ran amok in this room was an Indian lion. And a simple visit to the circus now will reveal the lion prancing jubilantly through a ring of fire. Somehow, I think maybe that's not it. Now, Mr. Garadeb, it is plainly clear that you still have deep feelings for this formidable beast. Indeed, in that blithe pose, the distress this loss has caused you is veritably tangible. Your head weighs heavy on your shoulders. The pain you feel revealed by that supporting arm. Amid fits of tears, you let your beloved beast go. The strain of losing something so dear to you is clearly visible in your visage. Nonsense, man. I simply... But what, we must now ask ourselves, is the true cause of this pain? We need only follow the direction of your gaze to find the answer. Yes, it is this pile of bills that has given rise to the pain you suffer. Every envelope contains another demand for payment. Ah. Cartloads of meat, potatoes, wheat, and tea. Indeed, feeding your beloved beast has had a devastating impact on the financial circumstances of your household. And so you had no choice but to let it go. Yes, well, Now, in a final fit of rage, the ferocious beast carried out one last unimaginable attack. Unimaginable? The aftermath of which can clearly be seen by observing the carpet over there. Very expensive woolen carpet, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, dearie me. Could have saw such a destructive outburst. This time, madame, I'm afraid it is you who has inadvertently revealed the truth to me. The wandering eye has settled upon the answer very neatly indeed. Yes, to explain the dire state of the carpet, we need only look at the Tower of Cakes. I think you're a little bit off there, buddy. Yes, there is no creature more dangerous on this earth than a beast with an unsatiated appetite. Was it or was it not once said by a certain noblewoman, if they have no bread, let them eat cake? Food is at the heart of all tragedy, in fact. Whatever do you mean? Having tired of the taste of cake, the beast began to stalk its next prey. I'm sure I need not spell out the nature of this final act of destruction carried out by the beast. There's only one logical conclusion. Worked into a frenzy by hunger, the lion attacked and ate the carpet. Teeth marks in the carpet are a perfect match with those of a lion I once saw in India. Teeth marks in the carpet? Are you sure about that, Sholmes? Thus concludes Herlock Sholmes' great deduction of this beastly puzzle. Ugh! What is the matter with you, Joan? You're pouring scalding hot tea all over me. Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Garadeb. I'm afraid I didn't notice. My deductions can be startlingly sharp. Stands to reason that your cup runneth over. Indeed, my revelations can make people spill tears at times, too. Oh. Mr. Sholmes, sorry to butt in again, but could I make an observation? Why, certainly, Mr. Naruhodo. What is it, again? Well, your deductions just now... Do you really think a lion could have fit inside a room of this size? Indeed. Is the only explanation for the facts. Terrifying truth all too often lies beyond the realms of common sense. Wouldn't it be an idea to consider what lies inside the realms of common sense as well? But if an uncaged lion had run amok in this very room, surely Mr. Garadeb and his maid would have been hurt, or worse. Ah, that's where you're stuck. No doubt the former military man held his own against the beast using that large cannon. I thought you said that they sold the lion to the circus. And what about the food? Meat and potatoes are one thing. I don't believe I have ever heard of a lion that drinks tea. Yeah, you know, we just turned the cannon on the lion. It was fine. Ah, my dear Mr. Sato, it occurs to me with some irregularity that irrespective of race and breeding, whenever anyone lands on Great British soil, they are infused with a highly appropriate taste for afternoon tea. Are they? Interesting. Oh, what a glorious notion. Well then, Mr. Naruhodo, it's your turn to shine again. I had a feeling that was coming. A slight massage? A slight massage. That's all Mr. Sholmes' deductions need. You can do it. Excellent. I've been waiting for my trusty partner in deduction to step forward, Mr. Naruhodo. I don't even know yet whether or not this is going to help with Mr. Natsume's case. Still, uncovering the truth is always worthwhile, whatever the motivation. At least, that's what I want to believe. Let us start again from the beginning of Herlock Sholmes' logic and reasoning spectacular. Here we go. Doesn't take a great detective to see that a fearsome beast had been on the rampage. Right. What form might the beast take? Staring. For a man with military breeding, your eyes are uncommonly candid. But he's not staring at the lion. This ain't right. I really didn't see that lion thing coming. No, but if you observe Mr. Caradub's reaction, it rather seems as though some beast did run amok in here in this room. Yes, something with a very fierce nature. But it couldn't have been a lion transported from India. So what was it then? Let's follow Mr. Caradub's gaze. Let's see here. Oh, hello. Well, this is the lion statue that Mr. Sholmes picked out. Yes, I wonder. Most of you did live with a lion. It proved to be a rather sweet companion. I think that's like a mouse trying to tell its family the cat around the house is sweet. So that is a bit of flight of fancy in the... What? Huh? But I clicked on it. Like, see? Photograph frame. There we go. Jesus. Oh! They're married! Oh my god! She's not a maid at all! She's his wife! What's this photograph? It appears to be from Mr. Caradub's wedding. He looks very happy, doesn't he? He does, but can't make out his bride. No, how unfortunate. Something must have struck the glass directly over the woman's face. I wonder what happened. Probably best not to delve too deeply there. Oh my gosh. That's so cute! The glass is broken, so you can't see the bride's face at all. No amount of cracks could hide this woman's plump form. I think powerful would be kinder than plump, Mr. Naruhodo. Yes, she certainly looks that. There's a lot of horsepower there. That's someone you'd want to upset, that's for sure. Oh, look. Have you noticed her wedding ring? It's very large, isn't it? Yes, that's an unusual design. Looks like some sort of embellished sunflower.
Take that!
Yeah, here we go. True nature of the beast that run rampant in here is revealed by that newlywed bride. Precisely, Mr. Naruhodo. No other explanation could possibly fit. Yes, this framed print pictures your wife, Mr. Caradub. And while we will lament the fact that her face is obscured, we can still make out her mighty arms. Note the considerable horsepower they must contain. There it is with the horsepower again. Oh, Indeed, surely any woman of such powerful constitution would be honored to be described as a beast. Honored might be stretching a point. Too late! The fact remains that the beast, which so clearly savaged this room, was your wife, Mr. Garadeb. Ah! Chilling traces of a wild rampage are still very much in evidence. Well, as we look around, the beast in question fails to present itself. Where could this angry creature have disappeared to? Madam? Alright, let's go. Come on. Yeah, that ain't right. Poor fragile, defenseless woman is beside herself. Well, I don't know about fragile. Oh, dear. Anyway, Mr. Sholmes is quite right. There's no sign of a Mrs. Garadeb anywhere. It seems there may be a clue as to her whereabouts. A clue that this maid is trying to hide. Oh, does she have the ring on? Let me see. If I look under here. Aha!
Take that!
Got it. Your wedding ring gives us a handsome clue as to the beast's current whereabouts. Ah! Indeed it does. That flowery band gleaming on your finger gives you away. For it is identical to the one shown on the hand of Mr. Garadeb's bride in this photographic print. In other words, you are no ordinary household maid. No. You are Mr. Garadeb's lucky bride. You are Mrs. Garadeb herself. Oh my word. Got her. Well, jolly fine detecting, sir. As you rightly surmised, this is the wife, yes, my Joan. Rather let herself go, you might say, but she was a bally corkerback. Yeah, that one was on purpose. Well, most of them have been on purpose, but that one was especially on purpose. You deserve that one. It would appear that you don't live in the most comfortable of circumstances. After all, you are retired army men, yet you are in the business of renting out rooms. I would assume, therefore, you have insufficient means to employ a maid. Would that be correct? It's not right, I tell you. I was second lieutenant of the 3rd Regiment. Man has his pride, don't you know? By golly, it's a sorry thing when a chap can't even afford to have a single maid in his employ. Yes, here in London, one is rather judged. A household cannot be considered worthy of society if it employs no staff at all. Though in my considered opinion, such concerns about appearances are a folly. You mean that Mr. Garadeb and has his wife work as his maid? Precisely. Am I right, Mr. Garadeb? Only in company, obviously. But listen here, this must remain a secret. Tip-top secret, please. Why was she so angry, though? What did you do? What did you say to her, man? Now, Mr. Garadeb. Plainly clear that you still have deep feelings for this formidable beast. Indeed, in that blithe pose, the distress this loss caused you is veritably tangible. Your head weighs heavy on your shoulders. The pain you feel being revealed by that supporting arm. Mr. Sholmes is quite something. He's still calling Mr. Garadeb's wife a beast. Yes, as a woman, that feels rather uncomfortable. As Mrs. Garadeb is standing beside her husband as we speak. In other words, he hasn't lost his beloved at all, has he? Oh, how true. So perhaps that supporting arm that seems to be propping up his head has some other significance then. Pain is tangible. Oh my god. This man got smacked. Joan slapped this man across the face. Something fierce. My dude, what did you do? What did you say? Look at that bright red mark. Gosh, that's quite something. And clearly made by somebody's hand. Yes, Mr. Garadeb has been slapped on the face, it seems. Hard. I've never seen such a clearly defined mark. Whoever could have done such a thing? Well, there's a very limited number of candidates, I'd say.
Take
pain revealed by that slapped cheek. And of course, the deliverer of that impressive mark on your cheek that refuses to fade was you, Madame Joan Garrideb. Well, yes. You have been desperate to hide the slap mark on your cheek, sir. Ugh! How the blazes? How did you work that out, man? Nothing escapes the notice of one trained in the art of observation, my dear fellow. That's why you haven't looked directly at us even once. Keep the other side from view. Well, Now, let us proceed to the next conundrum. Why were you subjected to such a violent slap? In other words, we must ask ourselves what caused Madame Garrideb to fly into a rage. We need only follow the direction of your gaze to find the answer. Yes, it is this pile of bills that has given rise to the pain you suffer. Except no, it isn't. Didn't Mr. Sholmes say the bills were all for lion fodder? Yes, but now we've established that the lion never existed, which can only mean that the thing responsible for gobbling up all that food was Mr. Garrideb's wife. Mr. Naruhodo! She's a person, not a thing! Yes, well, she's also a person who gave her husband a mighty slap around the face. One so hard it left a perfect hand mark, in fact. Yes, why would a woman want to hit her husband with such force, I wonder? I'd love to know the answer to that question. Oh dear, this plate has been smashed to pieces. Nobody seems inclined to tidy up the mess. Perhaps it's some sort of high art. Really, Mr. Naruhodo? Well, anyone who has a cannon on display in their living room is clearly a little eccentric. Oh no, what's this bookmark? Why is there a lipstick mark on it? Oh, Garrideb, what did you do? Ah, someone must be reading this book at the moment. There's a bookmark here, look. Mr. Garrideb is clearly an avid reader. Oh, wait a minute. I don't think this is a bookmark. Oh no, so it isn't. It's a note written in a woman's hand. Oh, James, I love you. Yours, Mary. Yeah, he sure as hell deserved that slap, didn't he? God damn. And look, next to the signature here. Lip marks made with lipstick. Oh, what a passionate and romantic gesture. Don't get any ideas, Susato-san. Oh dear, I'm sorry. So this bookmark is actually a love note then.
Take that!
Yeah, you deserve that slap, you piece of shit. Yes, it is this love note that has given rise to the pain you suffer. Oh, James, I love you. Yours, Mary. Passionate indeed. Perhaps the sender of this note, a certain Miss Mary, is the fly in the ointment here. Nice! I'm so glad they did it again. Oh, that was beautiful. But I don't know the bully woman. You don't know her. That note wasn't written to me. It was just in the book. I don't know how it got there. It was just in there, you say? That's right. So I've been saying... Ah! A likely story. Listen here, Joan, old thing. I explained at the time. I bought the book at that second-hand place. That note must already have been in there. So the previous owner of the book was using the note as a bookmark, you mean? That's right. What I've been saying... Ah! A likely story. For heaven's sake, woman, look at the name. It's written to James. My name, in case you've forgotten, is John. Ugh. A likely story. Are you questioning my name now? Oh. Wait a minute. Maybe he didn't do anything wrong. Now I'm the one that's jumped to conclusions. There we have it. Rouse the suspicions of the female heart, and you unleash a beast with a most ferocious bite. Ugh. Now, in a final fit of rage, the ferocious beast carried out one last unimaginable attack. Unimaginable? The aftermath of which can clearly be seen by observing the carpet over there. Very expensive woolen carpet, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, dearie me. I could have saw such a destructive outburst. This time, madam, I'm afraid it is you who has inadvertently revealed the truth to me. Your wandering eye has settled upon the answer very neatly indeed. Yes, to explain the dire state of the carpet, we need only take a look at the Tower of Cakes. But surely Mr. Scaradeb didn't eat the carpet. No, of course not. There doesn't seem to be any doubt. The state of disarray that the room is in is a result of her wild temper. No, that's true. Still, this is the last part of Mr. Sholmes' deduction that we need to fix. We'd only follow Mrs. Garredeb's gaze, and that will tell us the real answer. Alright, let's see what we can see. Now, I have an idea that it might be the candle, right? Unless there's something else around here. Yeah, see, that candle's missing from the candelabra. This looks like a very old candlestick, doesn't it? The base looks too small. Surely it's very unstable. Looks to me like even the slightest knock would topple it over. Oh dear, that would be dangerous. Wait, take a closer look at this. There's one candle missing. Yes, I didn't notice that before. Why is that, I wonder? Why is one candle of the three missing from its holder? Because it's over here and it burned the rug, probably. Carpet here has been ripped to shreds. Yes, and according to Mr. Sholmes' deduction, tears match those made by an Indian lion's teeth exactly. Oh, look here. What is it? Look closely at the edge, you can see scorch marks. Oh yes, so you can. In that case, perhaps the carpet wasn't eaten in the normal sense at all. Let's rethink this with that in mind. So I can't select the carpet, but I can select the candlestick, and that's probably what I need to present.
Take that!
Yeah, there we go. Yes, to explain the dire state of the carpet, we need only look at the candlestick. Most illuminating, my dear fellow. And of course, the only possible way out of this logical labyrinth. Yes, the remnants of a ferocious attack in which the carpet was devoured are clearly visible. Indeed they are. The scorch marks at the edge clearly give the truth away. Scorch marks? It would appear that this room was the scene of a little marital altercation. Mrs. Garredeb's mighty arm muscles left an impression not only on her husband's face, but on the entire room. The force of her strike caused a candle to fall from the holder. And in seconds, the carpet was alight, and the whole corner of the room in flames. Yes, For the most ferocious beast in this world is neither a violent lion nor a vengeful woman, but fire. And in this room, that ferocious beast bared its claws and ran amok. Eloquently put, my dear fellow. So you can see there is but one conclusion here. After the sparks of marital discord flew, this room was the scene of a fire. Oh, he's standing up. Mr. Sholmes, sir. I salute you! Oh, down he goes. Strong. Strong! We love strong women in this household. Joan is great. Very powerful. Very strong. It's these dashed long winter nights, you know. Nothing to do but read in front of the fire. Luckily, there's a jolly good second-hand bookshop just around the corner. Buy all my old novels there. And in the pages of one particular novel, you discovered some rather illicit material. Which your wife admonished you harshly, it seems. Don't know about admonished. Demolished might be rather closer to the mark. And beast is most certainly an apt to... Here we go again. The carpet? Was that destroyed by fire when a candle fell on the floor? Great to say it was. Happened in the blink of an eye, you know. Whole place filled with smoke. Couldn't see a bally thing. I was caught between the old stick's rage and the raging flames. You paint a torrid picture, sir. One that would have been most entertaining. That's sympathy for you. Didn't take long for the fire to spread, of course. The bally furniture started going up as well. Had to hide the mess behind that screen for the time being. Over here, Mr. Garadeb. We have nothing more to hide now, if you'll allow me. Had all my favorite old novels in that case. As soon as the fire got hold of them, that was it. Whoosh, up in smoke. Gosh. And the wife started hurling things at me. What a terrible sight it must have been. There was I, backed up against the window, under heavy enemy fire. Incendiary books coming 10 to the dozen. Worst of it is, I lost my favorite, a book called The Lion's Pride. The Lion's Pride? Ah, yes, your notorious love of big cats coming through again. I assure you, the title didn't influence my choice in the slightest. So the poor man really did lose something dear to him as a result of the ferocious beast's rampage. Mr. Sholmes' deductions turned out to be correct once again. It can only be described as a great British wonder. I tell you, it was total carnage. Flames everywhere and the old stick in full fettle. Out of interest, what time of day was that? Not sure if I can remember. It's 2 days ago now. Let's see. Around 5 o'clock, I think. So at exactly the same time, the terrifying incident was unfolding outside your window on the street below. Even more terrifying on the inside, I can assure you. Full of Blighty could have been flattened outside my window at that moment. You know, I wonder if maybe she was like all up in a rage, throwing stuff, and if she threw a knife that happened to go out the window and hit the victim. That seems incredibly unlikely, but it's maybe possible? I don't know. I wouldn't have noticed a dashed thing. Oh, really? Mr. Sholmes. Yes, Mr. Naruhodo. What can I do for you? Well, I think we've got to the bottom of Mr. Garadeb's situation now. But what does it have to do with Mr. Natsume's circumstances? I can't help you there, I'm afraid. What? My dear fellow, you recall I did say as much from the outset. I warned you that although I knew the retired army man to be hiding something, I could not be sure whether his secret would prove to be of relevance or not. I just knew you were going to say that. Now, Mr. Naruhodo, you mustn't lose heart. Bear in mind that all things fall into one of only two categories, those relevant to the case and those not. That makes no sense to me. Well, no matter. It is of far greater importance that you make up your mind now. Sorry? Visiting hours at the prison will soon be over. Oh, is it that time already? If we're to accept Mr. Natsume's case, we have official paperwork to attend to. So that's it. No more time to think. Perhaps you'd like to take yourselves to bidding us farewell now. I must prepare supper for Mr. Garadeb. Oh yes, I'm so sorry. Thank you both very much for your time. Soseki-san will be waiting for us, and I'm going to have to give him an answer. Alright. Let's go. So this is the end of the investigation phase then. The trial starts next. It's time, Mr. Naruhodo. We must hurry back to the prison. Yes, I know. Let's hail a Oh, what's the matter? Looks like something's going on over there in front of the Garridib's house. Who the fuck is this? Who are you? What are you doing here? Why do you look like that? Okay, we got a jester now. I'm gonna need a jester voice. I know thee not, old man. Fall to thy prayers. Look at this man's chin. He looks like a Muppet. Who are you calling an old man? Wait. I need to hang on. Hold on. I know exactly what voices I want to mimic for this one. Hang on. Hold on. Hang on.
What was that? It's called the medium sketch.
The medium sketch?
Yeah, it wasn't rare and it certainly wasn't well done.
Okay.
Who are you calling an old man, you rum-looking niminy-piminy?
There are more things in heaven and earth, Horatio, than are dreamt of in your philosophy.
Who's this Horatio fella, huh? What are you on about?
Excuse me.
What the? Who are you now?
I'm so sorry. It just looked as though there might be some problem here. And my associate here, Mr. Ryunosuke Naruhodo, is a lawyer, you see.
A lawyer? What?
If I can be of any assistance, I'd be happy to help. I'm from Japan, but I have studied English law.
Fine. I'll be on my way for today, but you mark my words. This ain't over yet.
Cool JoJo pose, dude. Get thee to a nunnery!
Do I look like a bloomin' nun to you?
Who the fuck are you? I do hope you're not injured. Oh, fair Eastern maiden, thou art so gentle, thank you! What was that all about? There are more things in heaven and earth, Horatio, than are dreamt of in your philosophy. I'm not Horatio either. Forgive the inquiry, sir, but are you a lodger here? In the Garridib residence? Oh, fair Eastern maiden, thou art so right. Yes, I do dwell in this humble abode. Mr. Garridib mentioned that he had another lodger, didn't he? This must be the man. Do you happen to know the other lodger who lives on the first floor? Ah, yes, a gentleman named Natsume. Oh, more worthy a polemist in my battle of words, ne'er could there be. Sorry, battle, did you say? Who is the stronger, Hamlet or Macbeth? Mr. Natsume and I sparred long into the night. I see. I don't fully understand, but it seems Mr. Natsume and this gentleman are acquaintances at least. So fair maiden, so good gentleman. I can tarry here no longer. Fare thee well! I didn't really understand him, but I think he's returned to his room. It seems he's unaware of what happened to Mr. Natsume, so he can't really help us. With Soseki-san and that man as lodgers, the Garridib house is certainly full of eccentrics. Anyway, I'll go and find a carriage. Yes, I'm sure Mr. Natsume is eagerly awaiting our return. Let's hope we can get to the prison before visiting hours are over. Christ. The characters just... this is why I love this game, man. The characters are so good. So much fun. Oh, it's you. You're here. You came. Locum student Mr. Naruhodo Esquire. I can't believe you came back. I'm so touched. We're so sorry to have kept you waiting, Mr. Natsume. Oh, no, think nothing of it. Relax. If I were a cat, I would purr with pleasure at the company of such fine compatriots. Noble, nurturing, never failing, Nipponese. Oh, now let's not get carried away. Oh, I quite agree. There's nothing more reassuring than the familiarity of one's native land. On the other hand... Oh! It is through friendship transcending international borders that one truly appreciates the fact. Such is my belief, at least. It's you! The miserable, rotten spy, Hairlock Sholmes! Mr. Sholmes, what are you doing here? I have no intention of doing anything per se, save observing, of course. Whatever do you mean, Mr. Sholmes? Well, having encountered some curious reading material in that gloomful room, and having unmasked the secret identity of that eccentric pair, I decided I should drop in on my way home to see how our divested friend is faring. Gloomful room? At least your accommodation here offers a window, my dear fellow. In that sense, it is the superior option. Anyway, I must commend you on your taste in books. My day has been a delight and cost me not a penny. Ugh, you! How dare you, Hairlock Sholmes! Ugh. I've had it. I'm through. I'm at the end of my rope. I should never have come to Great Britain. It was a terrible mistake. Haunted by spirits in those accursed lodgings, no doubt my luck will be cursed in tomorrow's trial as well. My whole life is bedamned. What are you thinking, Mr. Naruhodo? Mentioned that one before, didn't he? His lodgings were cursed, I mean. There's much truth in Mr. Mustache's words. What? Cursed is a wholly appropriate description, I would say. For the man's lodgings, and indeed, for tomorrow's trial. What's that supposed to mean? Mr. Natsume, what did you mean by what you just said now? About the trial tomorrow being cursed? Oh no, why are you looking so grave? You're making me nervous. I was just getting carried away, that's all. I didn't mean anything by it. Oh, I see. That's really agitated him. You don't mean trial really is cursed somehow? Are you referring to the prosecutor, the Reaper of the Bailey? The Reaper? Oh no, what do you mean? Please, tell me, surmise it succinctly in 16 salient words. I see, now we've just thrown the man into a panic. We shouldn't have said anything. No defendant has ever survived a trial in which the Reaper stands for the prosecution. Ever. Oh my goodness, can it really be true? That was 16 words exactly! Yesterday, Mr. Naruhodo successfully defended someone against the Reaper. But then, after the trial was over, the defendant passed away in unusual circumstances. Mr. McGill did. What? Ah, I'm impressed, Mr. Sasato. You have an eye for detail. Wait, hang on. Did he... Wait. Miss Sasato. Never mind. I misread. Actually, the Lord Chief Justice told us. Mr. Sholmes, surely it can't be that, having failed to have the accused convicted, Lord Van Zykes killed the man himself. Oh no, he couldn't have, surely. You have some wonderful notions. Sorry? The man isn't a mass murderer. He's a court prosecutor, my dear fellow. Oh, yes. Why, of course he is. Ugh, of course he is? Then why are you trying to scare me? It could be said, however, that the real truth behind the man is even more terrifying than your hypothesis. What on earth do you mean by that? Tell me more about the Reaper. Van Zykes is a quite exceptional man. However, in London courts of law, exceptional does not equate to winning every case without exception. Ah, that's good. Soseki-san looks like he's going to cry tears of joy. As you are no doubt aware, in a British criminal trial, there is both a judge and a jury. The judge officiates based on the letter of the law, whilst the jury offers public opinion and common sense. It is an excellent system, whereby the defendant's guilt is considered from several points of view. However, public opinion in particular is somewhat easily manipulated. Right. Criminals, and corrupt lawyers for that matter, can use it to their advantage, by any means at their disposal, contriving evidence, calling impostors as witnesses, and so on. By such underhanded means, those who would want to are able to sway the jury. Which means that even in the light of irrefutable evidence, the prosecution can fail. But it means the wrong verdict can be passed. And sadly is from time to time, my dear madam. It is simply the reality of the situation. And that's all right. However, those indicted by Lord Van Zykes cannot escape justice. Their fate is sealed. Oh my. Though the adjudication may see them leave the courtroom with their freedom, within months, they all disappear. It is most striking. Disappear? But how? Ah, by all manner of misfortune, sir. Perhaps they are trampled under a passing carriage. Perhaps they fall into the Thames and drown. Perhaps they are suddenly overcome by a raging fever. Or perhaps attacked by a highwayman. Oh, no. All examples of the reality of events here in London, I'm afraid, Mr. Naruhodo. I knew it. I'm a dead dodo, done for, doomed! When you said accursed lodgings before, you were referring to your room at Mr. Garridub's house, I assume. Do you mean to say you believe the place is cursed? It's been a year now since I came to Great Britain, but I'd only been in London a week before I started to notice strange feelings in myself. That didn't take long then. Everywhere I looked, there were foreign faces staring at me, laughing behind my back. I was sure the people were talking about me. I started to become nervous about going outside. They were always staring at me, all the time, from dawn till dusk. So I shut myself away in my room. But even that didn't help. The fear wouldn't go away. You must have been very lonely having been away from your homeland for such a long time. I've had to move a number of times, most recently to that room on Briar Road a week ago now. Yes, why did you choose there? It seems a little inconvenient. The rent is cheap. I have so little money, it appealed to me straight away. Of course, I asked why it was so affordable. The landlord just simpered and said, "The room is cursed." Oops. He quickly tried to cover his mistake, but it was too late, so I told him, "You have something to say, then say it. But if not, don't mention it in the first place." Yes, well said. But it was true. It was all true. You mean the room really is cursed, then? Ever since I moved into that windowless hellhole, my sleep has been plagued with nightmares. I awake feeling as though I'm being choked to death. In my waking hours, people are stabbed in front of me as I walk down the street. I'm branded a killer, thrown in prison. Nobody wants to know me. I'm surrounded by scary, sinister spirits. If only there was someone, just one person on my side. Can no one find it in his or her heart to believe in me? Really, no one at all. To believe. Yes, to believe. Mr. Sholmes. Ah, me, Mr. Naruhodo. Pray, what can I do for you? It's about the case on the SS Buria, if you recall? The Buria. Ah, that case. The one with the snake. Well, yes. At that time, I was the suspect, but you believed in me and listened to my side of the story. And you helped us to investigate. I did I? Interesting. What I want to know is, why? Why did you believe in me? I see, yes, you mean... Because you were a grimly dressed, shady Eastern fellow found with the victim in a locked room? Well, if you like, yes. I'm a little surprised that the answer requires explanation, my dear fellow. It's quite simple, really. You said I didn't do it. But I could have been lying. Surely you must have had your doubts. You must have suspected me a little. I think perhaps you have misunderstood. I neither recall believing in you, nor that which you were telling me. What? You see, the only things I believe in are those I choose to believe in. Okay? What do you mean, Mr. Sholmes? I make up my own mind about what it is to be believed and what is to be believed and what is not. If I should like to believe in something, I do. The circumstances can hang as far as I'm concerned. But I could have betrayed your trust. In that case, I should have made an elementary error of judgment, nothing more. Betrayal of trust is an overused excuse, in my opinion. Meaning, whether or not someone should trust another is, in the final analysis, down to oneself. It is a matter of whether or not one can trust oneself. Yes, he's right! He's right, locum student Mr. Naruhodo, Esquire! Whether or not I can believe myself. A defense lawyer is only as good as his faith in his client. And that comes down to how much faith he has in himself. You were so right, Kazuma. I think we're going to be defending him. Well, my dear fellows, it is time we were leaving, I believe. Already? Visiting hours are over. The guard will be here shortly to escort us out. There is a restaurant near here that serves excellent trout. Would you care to join me? Oh dear, there's never enough time, is there? Saseki's still just, like, fidgeting around. Mr. Natsume, if you'd like, in the trial tomorrow, I'd be happy to represent you. Locum student Mr. Naruhodo, Esquire! As I said, I only experienced a British courtroom for the first time yesterday. And although the man I was representing was found not guilty, I lost sight of something crucial. Something crucial? What to believe in. The defendant, justice, or the truth. How to believe, even. But I think I finally worked it out. I've decided I must believe in myself above all else, and trust my instincts. Yes, Mr. Naruhodo. And my instincts are telling me that you, Mr. Natsume, are innocent of this crime. And it's imperative that we prove that in court. Locum student Mr. Naruhodo, Esquire! I will fight for your innocence until the bitter end, with every weapon available to me. So I hope you'll permit me to represent you tomorrow. As I said when we first met, I'd like to entrust my fate to someone who will listen to me in my native tongue. Of course, Mr. Natsume. It would be fair to say, Mr. Naruhodo, that your mind was, in many ways, made up from the outset. You merely needed the events of today to fully realize it. Yes, I think you're right about that. It's been a roundabout journey, but I got here in the end. Mr. Sato? Yes? Would you be willing to stand by my side tomorrow and help me in court? Absolutely. As I said this morning, you may consider me your personal judicial assistant. I love that pose. It's so cute. Shocking events of yesterday's trial still weigh heavily on my mind. And it's time to stop looking backwards. Kazuma believed in me. Mr. Sholmes believes in me now, too. So it's time. Time that I learned to believe in myself. Saseki-san has no one. He's all alone. So it's my job to help him. To fight his corner. Tomorrow, in the courtroom. With all the strength I can muster. Ah, there it is. Ooh. All right. Well, I'm excited for next week then. Because I believe I'm going to wrap up here. Thank you all so much for joining me, as usual. I'm going to kick you over to someone now. Let's see who's live and streaming. I think Koki is. Yeah, Koki's having her marathon subathon. So I am absolutely kicking y'all over to her. So let me get this raid set up here. Tomorrow is gonna be more pixel art, I think. Yeah, that's what's on the schedule anyway. So more pixel art. And as a matter of fact, I do believe I'm going to be doing something for Koki then, because Koki, if you didn't know, is actually my like rigging cousin, I suppose you could say. The person that rigged her model, owns like an artist guild, and I got my model through that guild. So we're like cousins, kind of. I've talked to her a little bit. She's very, very cool, and she's a lot of fun. So we're gonna kick you over to her subathon, and you know, I really should like make like a message, like a raid message, right? That's something I should probably do. So I'm gonna do that. So hold on just a moment. It's just gonna be like rogue raid. I think that works. For an emote, well, if you've got a sub, just use like the pog. If you don't have a sub, what is it? It's there's Tomb Raid. This one right here. Use that one. That's like a Twitch global emote. So let me just copy, paste. Copy, paste. There it is. You can copy and paste that and just like pop that in the chat, I guess. There's a raid message. Let's go. Anyway, I will see y'all tomorrow for more pixel art. Take care, y'all, and see you next time. Peace.